Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone watching, viewers, even the team in the background. Hello, welcome back to another stream. Today we're going to be looking at another match. You know, it's play day 9. We're getting in progressively, and it's getting tougher and tougher for each and every one of them. So, you know, today we're going to have 3 matches, and for match 1, we're going to be starting off with a good old tasty and a bit of a warm up for a BO1, and it's going to be. Yesterday it was Barney's Trusted Dinosaurs, actually facing off against another team, and today it's going to be another, I guess you could say, goofy name, but it's going to be Nerf Miner versus Team Invictium. So it's going to be the Miner. Now, Reprints, can you give us some intel about these teams? What do we know?
Well, I know a bit about some of the individual players. I have not seen either of them play thus far. But I can tell you a little bit. I know Sunja from previously just observing. Um, it looked. I don't. I'm not really sure. I remember Sir Pega as well, so I remember Sunja and Sir Pega. But for the most part, I'm going to be new to these two teams. So
Right. Let's actually, let's talk about what's going to be happening, what's on the stakes, all that type of stuff. So, the first map that has been picked by now is going to be Clubhouse. So it's a default map, but like yesterday with Tyrell, I believe I was casting, it was quite an interesting match to watch, to say the least. So let's hope we can get some sort of same entertainment, to say the least. And Nerf Miner is going to be starting on attack. So let's talk about what's on the stakes, like mentioned. If Nerf Miner win with 7-4 or, greater, they will place themselves on second place, which is, quite a huge thing, They have to really try hard. They can only keep that spot if Goldini's versus Aiden Esports draw in tomorrow's game. So it's not only depending on them, but the tomorrow's match as well. So it's a lot in the stake. They need to cross their fingers for quite a lot. And if it is a draw, both teams will be failing to make it to the top two and a promotion, or as you'd call it, a playoff spot. And of course, for Team Invictum, if they win, they are going to be taking over fifth place from Team Guardians Alpha. So they're gonna be stepping a ladder up and taking one of the teams down. So let's actually go to the votes. The teams, people can still assume who's gonna win based on how they played, how they've been doing so far, and well, reprints. What are the, I guess, league or community staff votes?
So the staff votes coming in for this minor league game is actually very much in favor of Nerf Minor. It's 87% to 13, so people not really putting a lot of faith into Invictum, just trusting Nerf Minor with this one. They are currently higher up on the standings, I believe. And if they win, they get to have a spot in second place, or at least they have a chance for a second place spot. Meanwhile, we have Invictum fighting for more of a mid position, right? So it's going to be an interesting match. There is stakes for both teams here, but Nerf Miner are going to be really keen on taking that second spot, at least having the chance to tomorrow. While Invictum are just kind of fighting to get themselves into a better spot. So I
Yeah.
think the staff votes are pretty fair.
I mean, we're gonna have to see it. So, actually, talking about that, let's head into the match, shall we? It's gonna be Clubhouse, like mentioned. It's not too default, but it's one of the more defaultier ones. And of course, by staff votes and by stats, by the place, all that type of stuff, it seems like Nerf Minor will be having a bit of an easier game, to say the least. They're fighting for more as well, for second place and the playoff spot. Now, not only do they have to win that, but tomorrow one of them has to see if Goldini's and A10 draw. So, they have not only one thing on the line, they have multiple. So it's kind of multifunctional for them. So actually, let's head into the match. Let's not talk about tomorrow or yesterday. Let's see what's happening currently. And the first ban is going to be a default. And of course, joining him probably will be Cade, but it's going to be first one out of the match, off the board, you could say. It's going to be Thatcher, a good old, EMP no more. So I'm assuming right now the second ban could be Maverick. Maybe they don't want to get the breach stuff, but actually it's going to be the new operator, which is, it's interesting because I don't think I do not believe they're allowed to play the operator, so banning him does seem a bit off board. They are actually, my mistake. So, Sense is quite strong. I haven't seen him play, but you need to know lineups. Joining him will be Azami. I feel like when it comes to teams' weaknesses, if they waste too much time, Azami can be quite deadly. Now, like mentioned previously, the dynamic duo of Thatcher and Cade will be getting removed. So, reprints, we don't see much of Azami and the new operator ban. So what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, in terms of Invictum, these are the most boring bans ever. Thatcher and Kide is something that I see every single time, and I'm so sick of seeing these two operators banned out because there's better bans that you can go for, and there's more specific bans that you can go for against certain teams. And Nerf Miner, I mean, they're just trolling. What are these bans? They banned the two new operators, Sense and Azami. They don't want to play. They want to play like they did last season. I feel like Nerf Miner just kind of take out the new ops because they don't feel like they are threatened by anything else. So they aren't playing for a specific way of Clubhouse. They aren't trying to get rid of a Maverick or a Hibana. So not really expecting impact tricking to come out with Hibana on the board. But instead they just take out all the new ops.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they have a maybe they have a plan of their own, you know? Since they saw Team Invictum's Thatcher, if they don't ban Cade, you know, they're going to be forced to say they want to get rid of. Actually, they want to secure maybe an operator for themselves, actually. Maybe a Maverick, a Hibana, like mentioned. Maybe they want to secure something for themselves to use it in the later round. So we're going to have to see if that comes in play. But you know what I like first? We haven't been seeing this quite a while, or quite a lot, because of, you know, nade meta, the operators being just strong. But it's going to be a bandit. Now, bandit tricking, it's useful. But I don't think we'll be seeing it in play, as he's just going to put both of the bandits on that wall. And, you know, with that in hand, I feel like, okay, bandit tricking, it's a good thing. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to bring up any controversy. Bandit tricking, it's a good thing. But with nade meta, it can easily be countered. Even a Wamai or a Jaeger can't counter it. But, you know, talking about that, News is going to be getting for the first pick on Joe Obama, an interesting name to say the least, and he's going to be getting an opening kill onto the Finka, a very important operator, a very big fragger, and even a potential winner, because, you know, the boosts can make a huge difference.
An early kill off the board. We have Finka down. Finka is very crucial in those late round executes because in case somebody gets downed on the execute, you can immediately pick them right back up. So Finka being down this early means that you don't get to use any of the adrenal surges, you don't have any of the nades, you don't have any of the gone sixes, and Lucan gets another kill. So that's Nerf Miner down by 2 immediately.
It seems like the votes aren't going to be holding up for Nerf Miner as much as they are, as Tobes is going to be getting removed. Of course, Wamai does have a pretty strong gun. You can't challenge it. And that's going to be the third pick on Team Invictum side. It's going to be a 2v5 already. Barely more than a minute has passed, and it's already down to the remaining 2 players on the attacking side. It's a Maverick and Ace. You know, the breach potential is there, but what after? It's a 2v5. You do have the gun advantage, but not the man advantage. It's not there. You can't go for refrags. So it's going to be based off mostly off of gun skill and, you know, your positioning, especially with the Melusi right now roaming a bit. It's going to be making it quite harder and, you know, taking the time down. It's going to be a lot harder because they're the ones that have a time limit, at least until the post plant is there, with the Melusi being a bit of an annoyance to this Ace. Will she be able to take him out? But not so surely. Yes, gets an opening kill onto Team Invictum. And it's still a 2v4. A minute and 5. Not too much, but not too little to go off.
So it was initially a 2v5. Fighting back from a 2v5 is so hard to do. Invictum just shutting Nerf Miner out of the building. Now finally they do get to enter, and they do find their first kill on the board as well. And there is a run out coming through from Newsy, but he gets cut down. Jolan gets another. He's now on a triple. He's found 3 kills, and suddenly the 2v5 has turned into a 2v2. He's equaled up the score, and with 40 seconds left, we are going to see the smoke canisters coming out. So Ellie is going to burn for the rest of the round. They are going to try and deny this cash door for the remainder of this very first round. But the fact that this is as close as it is right now is just it's a statement from the side of Jolan. The fact that he's brought this back is incredible. So now in the 2v2, 20 seconds left. Ellie's just bringing themselves around over behind into Cash, and it looks like Jolan and Mata are trying to just go for a brute force right into Cash's side. Mata goes down, Jolan gets tagged up as well, and he goes down too. And that's the first round for the side of Invictum.
Yeah, it was a very deadly one. I mean, the start was absolutely amazing. Almost a comeback from Nerf Miner, but the smoke wasting enough time was just about right. You know, you can't just go through a smoke so easily without consequences, to say the least. Even being kind of blinded, you don't have the best eyesight in it. And then being shot from like 3 directions, you know, not the best feeling, to say the least. But Nerf Miner was actually quite close to getting some sort of a comeback for themselves. They went from a 2v5 all the way to a 2v2. So, you know, the chance in the uprising was there, but sadly, they could not execute or finish it off. So yeah, it's going to be first round. It's going to be going to Team Invictum with round 2 being on the hand. We're going to be going downstairs into church. You know, it seems like Team Invictum is extremely aggressive. Nerf Miner, on the other hand, can get aggressive, but they've been being a bit more defensive, at least from the start of the previous round. So we're going to have to see if, you know, Nerf Miner can use some adaptivity to get a bit more of counter-aggression in and, you know, deal some more heavy blows than they should be able to. You know what's an interesting pick, Reverends? I just figured out they have a rook. So...
Same.
What's that about? You think... I doubt that's some sort of strategy, maybe for impact tricking. Because, you know, in competitive, mostly, I guess, headshots do have a bigger percentage, at least most of the time. But, you know, Rook is quite an interesting pick. I believe you have a lot more usable and expandable operators with impact. What would you go for?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of operators that can bring impacts. I think the most important part is just that Rook is a really heavy comfort pick. People just want to use that 2x on the defensive side. No other operator has access to it on the defense except for him, and there is the ACOG over on the Boss G, but that's not really a gun that you want to be using. So the MP5 having a 2x is really important for taking longer range gunfights. So it's more of a comfort pick, and it's more of I think just a confidence pick. They want to bring the Rook because Nuzi wants to challenge. We saw it in the previous round. He did go for a jump out that got him killed and almost gave who was it, Jolan, away back into the round, but Jobama gets the opening kill onto main stairs. He just cuts me off. And we have an aggressive Sir Piga just trying to get themselves up the stairs, but the Jaeger gets completely annihilated by the sledge, and so now it's an early man advantage for the side of Nerf Miner.
Yeah, not even a minute has passed and we're already getting opening kills. Now, with that, I feel like the attackers are going to start slowly shutting down. They're going to start zoning into the site slow and slow, as there's not much more roaming presence. I mean, you still have Blue, Moto, Church, and, well, of course, mostly site secured, but everything else left, attackers can do as they please. They can start rotating, they can start playing vertical, throwing nades, going for breaches, and with all that pressure around them, it's going to start getting heavier. I was expecting, you know, Lucan to go for a bit of a flank, which would put some pressure, but of course, a Nomad is there to stop that type of things. And, you know, while a Nomad can be useful, I feel like if a player can go on a drone, it's a bit more utility that can be expanded, but still, better be safe than sorry. Now, we already see Jobama with a bit of an opening, at least on kitchen side. He's going completely vertical. It's going to be a lot of pressure for the defending side. I mean, they have to defend from above, from all type of pushes they can come. If blue gets taken, it's going to be even harder. So, yeah, it's going to start closing in on them slowly but surely.
The kitchen hatch is still closed. I'm very concerned about that because it's been a lot of time thus far, but it looks like they have a breach open over on the side of what is it? Church. And Lucan is able to get one kill back through it, but he is traded out immediately by Jolan. Another trade coming in from Sunja. And now Mato trades it back as well. A lot of back and forth coming through between these two teams. Nuzi gets one more. It's down to a 2v2. Jolan's going for a plan. 20 seconds left on the board. Thompson will have to cover this. Thompson's going for a wide swing, and he does find a kill, but an impact comes through, and Nuzi finds the last two kills, and that's Invictum taking their second round, surprisingly.
I mean, it was a flick onto Arsenal right there, but an impact and an MP5 and a dream were enough to stop that push. Almost actually got the plan down, but not quite enough for the absolute mad lad of a Rook to stop it. It seemed like the Rook actually did pay out, so you know what? I lose that one. There could have been more expendable operators, but, Rook being the comfort pick, it did seem to work out. So, that's going to be second round in a row, so, they're going to be... It seems like Team Invictum is proving to be a very hard challenger for Nerf Miner, especially I've heard or seen bits of Nerf Miner being quite actually good from the past. I'm not sure if that's correct. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm just assuming. And of course, with the votes being completely on their side, only 13% on Team Invictum's, I feel like Team Invictum got like a bit of a surge. They wanted to, prove everyone wrong, and they're doing that correctly as they're going in a row. They haven't lost a round yet, and they've been doing it quite strongly. Their starts have been... One round, it has been excellent. The other one, not so much, but it was either the start or the end that just proved to show the difference, I guess you could say. Now, it's going to be Jim, and we can see the casual castle. We can see, of course, the Frost, which is... Frost is in comp, I guess, underestimated. Because in competitive, you think, oh, is this guy hiding in this corner? Do I have to drone that out? Do I have to call this out? You never go, is there a random frost trap under my feet? Well, you do figure it out, but it's a bit too late by then. So, a Frost can be, and her gun, of course, plus a shield, so I feel like Frost can be underestimated from time to time, and Jim being kind of a almost perfect site for her, just a bit more of, half walls, and she would be on the spot there. Now, it seems like actually it's going to be an opening kill from Jobama yet again, it seems like, but he's going to be getting traded out by Lucan, an absolute mad lad, the L2A3 coming out by the Frost. And, it was a quick trade. It's been barely, 30 seconds, 35 seconds. And people are already going down, so it seems like attackers are being a lot more aggressive. They started to adapt a bit more. Jolan already inside, it seems like. They are not They do not care much, as there's going to be another kill traded out. The Thermite out, but so will the Jaeger, and the castle will be, of course, demolished. Now, attackers are already in sight. It's all going down. And Mozzie got another kill. It's a 2v3. Back to a 2v2, traded on by Jonas. And one person stuck in Logi. What we'll be seeing here, as Aruni also gets taken out. A double kill from Jonas' side. Nuzi right now trades it off. He's the last one standing. Will he be able to defend off this Capital? Does he know where he is? He does not. And he actually does manage to get the final kill. And that's going to be another round. A third round for Team Invictum. I am sorry, Reprince. I didn't want to stop there. I don't know why. I just couldn't stop. It was a kill after kill. And, well, I'm completely left speechless.
Well, in a round like that, it was so hectic. Yet again, the same way that the execute worked on that basement side, it gets very hectic. There's a lot of trading going on between these two teams, and it's quite hard to follow it at times. But somehow it seems that Newsy is the one that always comes out on top in the very end. So the confidence pick of the Rook really working out, because he is able to find the kills that he needs to ultimately bring Invictum over the line. But I wanted to mention at the very beginning of the round, so early on, it was not even 30 seconds in, they had us set up to immediately, so there was one drone that had some information on the castle player over on Logi side. They gone 6 the hatch open, had Jobama drop it immediately and find that opening pick. That was a really good prep drone to get them a free kill. Jobama does get traded back after it, and we don't have anybody following him down the hatch, which would have been nice to see, because it could have given them early logic control, and that could have defined the round, and that could have been an attacker round within a minute.
Yeah, I mean, this is how interesting Siege is, you know. What little thing, such as a drone, can almost make a round difference, so it's quite an interesting thing to see. But at the end, it was, like mentioned before, Newsy coming out on top of the staircase, and he actually managed to get the final pick. And of course, him standing pretty tall in that construction site over there did manage to be quite good. And even the sight, of course, you mentioned the 2 times, I believe it was a 1.5 or it was a 2 times sight. Yeah, it was a pretty neat headshot at the end of the day. So let's move on to the next one. We're going back into CC, and boy oh boy, will Team Invictum not be getting the first pick this time, as it's going to be Tubbs on the Thermite picking his site, and it's going to be Sun who's going to be getting absolutely demolished. The Valkyrie out of the match. They're still looking out for any type of, you know, fragging potential for Nerf Miner, because I feel like Nerf Miner has a bit more adaptivity. You know, they've seen how aggressive they can be, and they started being a lot more aggressive and cautious back at them. Now, it does seem to work out, but it hasn't been working out for the previous 2 or 3 rounds or so. That's gonna be quite tough.
Sir Pega just running across the breach over on CC side. The breach was opened very early by the Thermite over on tops, and he does find the opening pick, then gets the wall open, and it almost gets Sir Pega caught out. He crosses the map, he drops down from catwalk into lower garage, and he's just moving himself across this breach. I think a bit too aggressively. Newsy does the same thing, but he will be able to get away with the pick. He is using the bomb as great cover, and that's the equalizer for the side of Nerf Miner. About half the round is gone, and Newsy's going for another wide swing. He does find it as well. That's a double kill for Newsy in the round again. He's on 10 kills already, and it's only been 4 rounds. Matto finds one back. Sir Pega trades him out. That's a 2v3. Nerf Miner, they are down 1 player. Invictum is just doing really well with Newsy, just finding these long angles. Another challenge coming through, a bit of damage done to Jonas. But Newsy does get finally taken down by Jolan, so Jolan coming in clutch again here on the same side. Jonas finds another kill, and they know where the last player is. He's tagged up. They've traded damage, they know where he is. And now with a minute left, it's Ellie who has to hold it down and finds 1 kill. That's Jolan down, but he's full white, and he will get taken down by Jonas, and that's the round for Nerf Miner. That's their first round.
First round, and the 2 remaining. It was 4 rounds, and the first one will be going, or the 4th round will be the first one going over to Nerf Miner. You know, it was a lot of trades. They were back at man disadvantage. It seems like Team Invictum really do go aggressive out and try and secure the man advantage, but then I won't say greed is the factor that gets demanded, but there is a part of it. It seems like, you know, Newsy got a double kill, but he wanted more. And that's what was the end of him. Of course, with the end being a 1v1 yet again for the smoke, the flash came into clutch, and the Nomad finished it off, managing to get their first round. So, you know, I feel like if Nerf Miner can get a round or 2 more, they should be kind of secure in their position. While attacking is not hard on Clubhouse, defending is still a bit easier because, you know, although attacking has been Clubhouse has been in the meta for so long that attacking isn't such a problem, but defending is still seems like a bit more comfortable. It seems a bit more defender-sided, at least on stats and, experiences, I guess you could say. But with that in hand, we're going back downstairs. Of course, CC was not one, actually, but it feels like Team Invictum doesn't feel safe on CC with, of course, how quickly the breach was opened, and, of course, the thermite right there almost actually took out Sir Peg, I believe so, but Nuzi found him dead, and at the end of the line, I believe, like, main breach is one of the most important parts on CC. With downstairs, you don't really have a main breach, maybe you could call it church, but even if it is open, you still have a lot of options to defend from armory, to defend from upstairs, flank, all that type of stuff. With CC, it's outside the map, directly into the site, so it's kind of hard to go around it, and it cuts off a huge amount of rotations as well, so it makes a huge difficulty or a problem for the attacking side.
There isn't something that exactly complement. Oh, an opening fight coming through from Thompson against Nuzi, and Nuzi again. His aggression got him killed last round, but his aggression also keeps giving him kills. He's 11-2. He's found another kill here. That's the opener for the side of Invictum. He's just doing really well right now, challenging these angles, and the 2x does give him the same magnification as Thompson, so he comes out on top in that engagement. But I wanted to add to your point, Bob, that CC breach is very important, and it's a crucial step in taking that site every single time. And I think comparable on church basement side would be, I think, the kitchen hatch. The kitchen hatch is very important, and you should always get it because it just applies pressure onto the defending side for absolutely free. That and maybe moto hatch.
Yeah, I can agree with you there. It's most definitely true. While Moto Hatch does have a room beneath it, you can still put a lot of pressure, so, verticality is the key downstairs. Now, it's a minute and 35. We don't have too much going on. A kill has been transferred over to Nomad. Joe Mob almost getting his head taken off by, of course, Sun. I'm just going to call her Sunjo, I believe. Is that how you said?
Sunja, yeah. That's
Sunja.
How I would go.
All right, let's go with that. Yeah, Sunja almost taken off the head of the sledge. But not quite. It won't be enough. It would have been quite a crucial thing, because it would have yet again put them in a 3v5. And Lucan does actually do that exactly, and it's a 3v5 yet again. Man advantage for Team Invictum. They're doing absolutely fine. They can play a lot more safe, and they should be in a very comfortable position, with, of course, the diffuser being all the way into Moto. The attacking side doesn't even have a chance to, rotate over to dirt or go down blue, but they have to push Moto, as a kill is going to be transferred over to Sunja, and of course Anuzi getting a bit of a trade onto Jobama with Lucan onto Mato. It's going to be a 1v3 for the Osar Jonas right here. Will he be able to do it? He gets a kill onto the Mozzie. It's a 1v2, but it's going to get traded by Sir Pege. A very nice kill indeed, and while it seemed like the Osa did have yet again another chance, Team Invictum tried to prevent that. Nerf Miner had, around 2 or 3 already attempts, and some of them even successful clutches. It almost happened again, but it seems like Team Invictum did actually take note of that, and of course, a refrag came instantly after.
Again, we saw it on this basement side here. This is a game of just trades. It's blow for blow between these two teams. It's always 1v1s and then trade backs. You just see multiple different engagements panning out between these two teams, and it's the scoreboard just keeps changing color. It's not multi-kills coming through. It's always orange, blue, orange, blue, orange, blue. It just keeps changing. And that's so interesting to see between these two teams. The way that they play is that toward the end of the round, Nerf Miner I think they're in suboptimal positions because I think their setup is just lacking in some places. And right here, they lost 2 players early. They were in a 3v5. And then during the execute, they were all trading. And what happens when you're in a 3v5 and you keep trading kills? Well, you end up in a 0v2 and you lose the round. Because you can't do these trade executes when you don't have the man advantage. Nerf Miner could get away with the way that they execute if they were in a 5v4 instead of a 3v5.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely that, and of course, Team Invictum, while though they do find that little dent to take care of and, enter into Nerf Miner's, of course, weaknesses, and actually manage to get the man advantage from there, Nerf Miner still doesn't give up. They still try their hardest, and it almost succeeds, but they just need that bit of a push, that bit of a pat on the back by, let's say, a Fink or something like that, that could maybe get them the win. Now, we're going back into CC. A pretty strong side, I would say a bit better to go off of than Jim, to say the least. And with main breach, if it's getting opened extremely quickly, that is going to be quite a huge deal. Yet again, it's getting open even before a minute passes with the Maverick there. A C4 gets shot at, but it was quite close, but not close enough for the defending side. I believe that would have been almost a triple kill. And with the nades coming in, the breach is going to get open, but are we going to be seeing Team Invictum run out on Garage? That doesn't seem like... Does not seem
That
like
C4, that C4 certainly would have caught the Thermite player, so that shot up from Jobama was really good, so they are able to get the breach open, and Jobama's able to find the first kill onto Nuzi, so Nuzi's been a menace on this defensive half so far, but he is shot down, so no more kills for him in this half at least. But what I want to mention as well, there is man advantage for Nerf Miner right now, but they need to win this game 7-4 if they want to, 7-4 or greater, if they want to come out on top and they want to get second place secured, at least for today. The problem is, they're already down 4 rounds, so they have to win every single round from now on, including this one, to still put themselves in second place on the scoreboard. So right now, they're not able to drop another round, otherwise they're going to drop the third.
Yeah, they gotta fight for all or nothing. I mean, they're in a very bad position. With actually, it seems like they're gonna be coming out on top, at least for now. Jaeger actually getting instantly taken out. Jolan gets shot for a second, but he's not taking any damage. And that's gonna be another kill from Jobama. A flawless round from Nerf Miner. And like you said, it's gonna be quite tough. I mean, they have to win, what, 6 rounds in a row? One after another. And, you know, if they even want to get the second place. And even then, the team tomorrow still has to draw to even, you know, fulfill that. So with that in mind, it's going to be quite tough with, of course, Team Invictum actually going on attack. So, you know, maybe if Nerf Miner feels a lot more comfortable or better or is just favored on defense, they should be able to manage it if Team Invictum is not likely or does not like being on the attacking side. I mean, the odds are turned out around a bit. It seems like the defending side is always the one that's a bit more favored. But still winning 5, 6 rounds in a row, I don't know. It just seems a bit too stressful, too difficult. Let's just hope they're not thinking about it too much.
I mean, if they are thinking about it, they must have turned the pressure up, because they went from having these scrappy executes and these trades to just having a complete flawless round. They shut down Nuzi, they shut down another player, they get control of Catwalk, they just push themselves through, and they get every single kill without even one coming back from the side of Invictum. Serpega gets aggressive downwards on Garage side because he's just trying to find any sort of refrag so that they can keep themselves in that round, but he's shut down by Jolan as well. Jolan, of course, finding a lot of important kills here in this attacking half. Now moving into the defense, I'm curious to see what he's going to be able to do on the Valkyrie. But 4-2 is an expected half for the defender side. The problem is that for Nerf Miner, it isn't really enough, because right now, they've won a round right now, and they have to win 6 more in a row if they want to still get into second place on the scoreboard for just today. Just for today. Tomorrow, they have to hope and pray that the game turns out the way that, they need it to. Between 2 different teams that are playing. Jobama going for an early spawn peek. He just finds Sonja. He was holding that angle for quite a bit, and that's a great opener. Sonja just not aware of it, and that's the Maverick down early, which is quite important on any side for the side of Clubhouse.
True, Maverick is a very strong operator, but you know what I like, Reprints? I like that Team Invictum, you know, they don't have only 2 hard breachers, but they have actually 3. So, you know, if Maverick goes down, they still have Ace and Thermite. So they want to secure that hatch no matter what. And actually, even Dirt, you could say. Ace is being very patient, but talking about that, Lucan is going to take out Jobama. And another kill could transfer from Nuzi onto Matto. It's going to be a 3v4. Jobama made a good start. But will Ace be actually able to take out this Legion? Jonas doesn't see him. And neither does Ace, so it's going to be... I feel like if Elysian takes a step forward and steps, you know, just stands up, it's going to be another death for him. Tries to get a bit more close, and actually almost takes him out. Quite close, but not close enough. That's a lot of intel. Ace is kind of screwed, I guess you could say, since, you know, everyone knows he's there. He's the diffuser. It's everything in his hand, and still with a 3v4, and them not... They're pretty much their second places on the line currently. It's going to be quite stressful, even more stressful to, you know, carry on from this point if they lose. Now, It's a minute and 15, and things are actually quite quickly going down. You know, kills have been transferred, even the patience is there. It's a 3v3 onto a 2v3 for Jolin and Tobe. And of course, with that in hand, there's going to be another 2 kill, and with the Ace AK-12 in hand, he's going to be taking out Jolin. Can the Mew take him out? But Lucan will be there to shut him down for the final kill, and another kill, actually another round, going on to Team Lucan, which is quite, I guess you could say, frustrating for their side.
This is exactly what I said. This is Nerf Miner now being out of second place contention. Even if they win now 7-5, even if they prevent overtime, they cannot be in second place anymore simply because of the round difference. So tomorrow's game is not going to be impactful for Nerf Miner, at least in that regard. So what Nerf Miner wanted to play for, they've lost already. And Invictum are showing up in strides here. There was a beautiful early round. Despite the spawn peak from Jobama, they are able to bring it back. They are able to get man advantage, and then they get an execute through. That's something that I talked about for Nerf Miner. They need man advantage if they want to go for these trade executes on basement. And they just never did have this man advantage. Nerf Miner did the same thing, mind you, from a different side. They went from dirt and blue instead of going from main stairs, but they went for a same type of execute. They just pushed in, went for the trades, and they come out on top because they have an additional player on the board. That's what I wanted to see out of Nerf Miner on their attacks, but instead Invictum does it, and they take their very first attacking round, so already on good pace to close out this round in regulation.
Yeah, it seems like the staff votes aren't going to be so correct, at least this time. You know, it's a huge difference. It was 38%, actually 83% to 13, or was it 87? 87% to 13%, my mistake. And, you know, with how much the staff expected of Nerf Miner, it's not going to be brought up. Team Invictum is going to be absolutely dominating, and I believe if they win this, they're going to go over to 5th place, or even actually have a chance to get on the playoffs. Now, you know, Lucan's not going to have much of a chance to even get into this round. He gets absolutely demolished by the Vector, a very strong gun. You know, it has 26 bullets, but it gets rid of them in a matter of seconds just because of the fire rate being absolutely insane. Damage, not the best, but it doesn't matter as the fire rate is going to be taking out another person. Newsy out of the match. It's going to be the Twitch, and it seems like Jobama going in for another kill. It's going to be onto line. A triple kill instantly for Team Invictum, and another one. Will it be the 5th? Will it be another flawless? But this time on the side of Team Invictum, we're going to have to see. Or will Thermite right here be able to deny it? He has no clue where he is, no clue where anyone is actually, quite in fact, but the alibi clones, and trying to sneak quite sneakily into side. He's going to be denying the flawless. Tobe getting taken out. He gets almost another kill, but that's going to be Matto with I believe, a triple or quad kill in this round. And, you know, when Matto has a Vector, you give up. You don't have a chance. It just, he should be nerfed. I'm just saying.
A beautiful triple kill from the side of Matto. It was 3 kills, and that's 2 different rounds now in 2 different positions that 2 different players have gotten a spawn peak on the side of Nerf Miner. Invictum, the first time around it happens, I mean, sure, blame on Nerf Miner. You know, they went for a spawn peak, they got away with it, but they do it for a second time. Now you really have to start watching. If there is another player on Nerf Miner that gets another spawn peak, I'm going to get very angry at Invictum because they really need to watch where they're going when they leave the spawn. You can't just expect the enemy to be playing passively, especially not Nerf Miner. Nerf Miner are playing super aggressive. They are going just for power plays and these spawn peaks, and it is working out for them. The problem is that Nerf Miner are lacking a bit of cohesion and a bit of coordination when it comes to the late round, and that is often what costs them. Also, their aggression can backfire, especially when you're fighting somebody like Newsy, who is kind of balancing out the entirety of Nerf Miner just by himself, so only his presence is already taking up a lot of the attention that Nerf Miner are putting on the remaining Invictum team. So, just, you need to be careful about these spawn peaks. You need to shut down the aggression that Nerf Miner is putting out, because that's the only thing that Nerf Miner have going for them right now, the aggression.
Yeah, I mean, if we see another spawn peak right now, I am going to scream. I'm not even going to lie about that, but it seems like Jolin is going to be quite a sneaky one, actually faking it out for now, as almost a spawn peak onto Thermite. Will it be delivered? Not so. Matto taking some damage as well. Not only Thermite, but it's going to be anti-spawn peak onto the side. But with the Thermite removed, it's going to be an instantly 4v4. The main wall opened. An interesting strategy to say, but Jolin was lost in this fight, and so was the Thermite. Thermite being very essential. You know, you can't do cross pushes. And of course, Senja joining him. It's going to be the sledge out of the match. It's the 4v3 transferred onto instantly. Of course, Lucan trying to take it back. You know, he doesn't want to get too aggressive, but he does want a bit of a refrag. It seems like Nerf Miner are going to be actually succeeding as Nato gets another kill onto the Finka, and that's going to be Lucan out of the match. Jobama taking some damage. He's outside, but will he be able to get the pistol kill? He tries to be cheeky and seems to back away. Mato getting taken out just like Jobama by the AK-12 on the rafters. It's going to be back to a 2v2, ladies and gentlemen.
Just over-aggressing on the side of Nerf Miner. We have Jobama outside the building, outside the main breach, just trying to get a peek over onto Nuzi downstairs, and he will get shut down from Serpega, who takes control of the map that was given up for free despite the huge man advantage that Nerf Miner have. And this is what I said. They have the aggression going for them, but that's it. They only have this aggression, and when they over-aggress, they're completely shut down, and there's nothing they can do about it. Thompson gets 1 kill, and now it's a 1v2 for Serpega. He's gotten 2 kills in this round already, but he will have to get 2 more if he wants to win this out. He almost gets shotgunned by Thompson, but now he's on very low HP, and he's gonna play it a bit more passively. I think he might be just taking the time to maybe talk to his team. That was the previous 2 rounds we've had spawn peaks coming through from Nerf Miner. Just simple 1-player spawn peaks. This time around, they full committed to it. They had multiple people spawn peeking every single angle outside the building that they could find, and it still works out for them. So despite Invictum paying more attention to the spawn peaks now and actually finding the opening kill, they are still traded back because there's more people spawn peeking, and now Serpega gets taken down, and it's Nerf Miner taking another round using their aggression and just reeling it back in.
Oh my god, I can't believe Nerf Miner actually got away with that. They opened up the main wall, spawn peek from blue and the main wall constantly. Jobama, of course, with the run out on the GOAT operator, and it actually worked out. You know, it's quite surprising. They actually managed to get the score back up from 5-2 all the way to 4. So they won 2 rounds in a row. Possibly just because of the spawn peeking and playing that aggressively. And, you know, it's quite an interesting sight to see. They've entertained us, that's for sure. And with that in mind, let's hope they get a bit more serious. And did I see Bar? Was that Bar?
It is.
That indeed is going to be Bar. So, you know, in once every decade, you could say, we're going to be seeing Bar in play. So, you know, quite an interesting pick. Maybe they're just trying to goof around, not playing seriously, or they have an actual plan. You know, they're playing quite aggressively, and it's working out for them. So, Bar is quite an open-fielded site. You can take a lot of aggression, and it does come down to gunfights. So, I feel like Bar could actually work out for them. I don't know why, but I just feel like they are actually going to win on Bar.
Well, I mean, Bar is obviously a lot different to the way it was before the small adjustment when they moved the bomb all the way from stock into stage. It's a small difference, and they changed just a tiny little doorway over on Bar. Right next to the bar, but that makes all the difference. And Mato goes for another spawn peek, and Jobama gets another as well. He is traded back, but Jobama again outside the building. He just cannot be confined to the inside structures of Clubhouse. He has to go out, and he needs to get those kills outside. He is able to get 1 before he gets traded back, and that's an immediate 4v3. Early aggression coming through from Nerf Miner, and again giving them that man advantage. Aggression is all they have going for them, but right now that's all they need.
It is actually still going on. I believe it's the 4th round in a row. Actually, the 5th round. All the rounds they have been on defense have actually proved, the 4th round in a row that they've been spawn peeking, and it's been working out. They took out the Ace and the Finka, 2 of the most essential operators, while with that in hand, Mato is not going to be surviving for much longer than them, with, of course, Noxy just being an absolute demon at this gun. Another kill being transferred on to Jonas, and it's going to be a 2v3. The man advantage was there, but the aggression was shut down in a mere second. Now, of course, Sight almost a wallbang onto Nuzi. It was quite close, but not close enough. With the TCSG in hand, it was actually almost a death. But it feels like Goyo is going to be going for a flank. Still back to the aggression. They can't stop. And Nuxie actually taking them out. They don't know for the flank. Will he be able to get a 3k from just this one silly move? He takes out Nuxie, but the other is actually taking out the thermite as well. The diffuser on the floor into lobby, and it's just Sunja versus the bloodthirsty Jolin with a TCSG in hand. He almost gets a headshot. The gun advantage is on Sunja's side, and so is the HP advantage, and she manages to cut him off, and that's going to be round 10 going on to Team Invictum's side. It almost worked out. Rupert, how much aggression can we take? How much is there?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes, all the aggression. Nerf Miner are so aggressive, and again it catches Invictum off guard. This time around, they are able to convert the round off of a great play from Nuzi, just being able to find a lot of these kills that are just very necessary. I'm gonna get to the Cav pick in a second, but for now I want to say that Nuzi, he finds one kill, he gets injured, but Ellie is there to trade him right back, and so Nuzi is able to get picked up again, and so they turn it into a 3v1, a great flank coming through from the Goyo using the TCSG. That was Jolin with a beautiful flank. It almost worked out, but his teammate on the side was a little too aggressive and he died a little too early. And so he isn't quite able to win that 1v3. It was very close, came down to a 1v1. But ultimately, the way that I said it, Nerf Miner, they're very aggressive. The aggression is all they have going for them, and Nuzi is facing them. And if Nuzi starts winning these gunfights, then the Nerf Miner is going to start losing those rounds, and Invictum are on match point. Now, Jobama is bringing out a Cav pick. That's going to be very interesting to see. We have a basement site, so this is most likely going to be an SSG-style roam, at least a heavy roam style, because we can see only Jolin in the basement right now. Everybody else is upstairs. So Jobama is most likely going to be hiding somewhere on top floor, and it looks like he's going for a spawn peek again. If this works out for him again, if Nerf Miner get the opening pick to somebody outside the building, I am going to... Please, no. No. Oh. It was Nuzi challenging. Nuzi does come out on top, thank God. We don't have an opening kill from Nerf Miner going outside. Instead, we have a kill from Nuzi going inside, and that's Invictum picking up the opening kill for the first time in a while. So now they're on match point, and they're in a comfortable position to maybe try and extend that lead. Serpega gets tagged up, though. Hobson took a little bit of damage earlier as well, and Serpega does get the kill on Tomato. He catches him trying to rotate back. That's a 5v3 advantage for the side of Invictum, and they're looking to close out this game.
I mean, I was quite concerned that it was actually going to work. I was concerned that the aggression and the spawn peaks were actually going to get Nerf Miner the victory. Yeah, exactly. Like, okay, it wouldn't have impacted him to the second place, but it's still better than nothing now. Dubson with a kill onto Serpega. The aggression is back in play, but will Nuzi be able to stop it? He does. Jolin gets taken out in blue. It's blue control for team. Of course, Team Invictum right here. It's back to a 2v4 man advantage there, but Jonas is not taking it so much with a Baron 9 in hand. He's going to be taking one. A second from Sunja. It's a 1v3, and Nuzi is going to be finishing it off, and it's going to be the victory going over to Team Invictum. And I wasn't hoping any team wins over the other, but I was concerned. I was really scared that Nerf Miner was going to win just because every round they have to, they spawn peek and they play these. It's quite an interesting playstyle to say the least. We haven't seen it much, and I believe this is the most aggressive match I've casted ever.
I mean, interesting playstyle is one word to describe what they were doing. That was just brutal aggression, just relentless, never-ending aggression from the side of Nerf Miner. They were just attacking and taking gunfights over and over. Even on the defensive side, you could not stop Jobama from getting outside the building. He was not confined by it whatsoever. He didn't feel comfortable inside. Maybe he has claustrophobia. I'm not sure about the background of those players, but maybe he just doesn't feel comfortable inside because he really wants to be outside the building. He really doesn't want to be inside, at least when it comes to the defensive side.
Maybe he just let the ranked beast out of himself and he just wanted to go absolutely numb on these players. But, yes?
I want to touch on, between these two teams, what I quickly want to say is that Nerf Miner are a team that is all around aggressive. All of them were aggressing and all of them were trying to take picks. And meanwhile, on the other side, we had Invictum, who were doing some really good team play things, which did win them a lot of the rounds. Their executes were pretty solid. But they also have one aggressive player who, if I remember correctly, 18 or 19 and 8, something like that, in this matchup. It was
Oh,
Newsy. And Newsy
Newsy.
was able to find all the kills. He's able to win the gunfights against everybody aggressing against him, no matter which side he's on and no matter what operator he's playing. So they stick Newsy onto an operator like the Twitch, which has a really good gun. The FAMAS is very powerful at cutting down people almost immediately. And it's really great to see Invictum just play around him. They know what he's capable of, so they just structure their team play around him finding picks, and that's working out as long as he's finding these kills. And it did work out in this game.
Hey, it got them the victory, and they proved us, they proved the votes wrong. But that was match 1, that was minor, so everyone watching, please do stick with us. It's gonna get a lot more intense. We're gonna have a BO2 coming up, and it's gonna be major, so we're gonna see a lot more plays. So, we're gonna be taking a bit of a 10-15 minute break, but stay with us and we'll see you then. This has been Bob and Reprints.
But the positions have been revealed by these guys, which means most likely they will try to exit themselves, and Echoes does get that first pick onto Ash. And it's absolute chaos going on with the Lion scans everything, and NCP is taken down to very little HP as Lion somehow walks to the side, gets lit up to 1 HP and then gets killed, and it is absolute carnage for the side of Machine Soldiers as all their players get taken out.
Go back through the double doorway as well. No one else there to take advantage, but oh no, it's happened.
Well, it's got it down 1, it's got it down 2, ladies and gentlemen. But there's the third one as well, so no interrogation, 2 quick kills from Raku right there. Shotgun out hand, and ladies and gentlemen, flawless for the side for Humble Academy.
To the side of the rappel first, not the first one onto the roof, and that's why you always go for that River Dock spawn, right? You get there nice and quickly. Icox finds the first pick though onto Rosie the rest of the round, but it does mean they'll hold onto shop for a little bit longer. Trying to play the tight angle with the shotgun. The flashbangs coming in though will completely block smoke, and Icox gets himself a double kill.
I'm still doing a great job in this one, and well, I gotta say, everything you do well, if you're good at something, never do it for free. And speaking of this, that's the reason why Godin is gonna prove it. You're good only. Hakamut, the only one left, the mute, he's trying to give his all right now, trying to clutch up. The Fuser has been blended, shot's gonna go through, but no! Look at this. Coke's got it right there.
That is a nitro boom, which is absolutely perfect for them so far. Heavy firing this player. He does. That's absolutely beautiful. But that'll be calls immediately taking out Fern. Isn't even worth it at that point. It's a 4 versus 3. That lead is immediately lost as soon as they go for it. Can this bandit be removed? That's the real question. It does indeed. Heavy potentially the round loser. So as of right now, time is ticking. 10 seconds to clock. Heavy gets one up forever. Plant is going on down. Rushing on through 10 seconds. That time has to push on through now through that garage. Sets up on that side. Bombing again, heavy fire from Heavy. Taking that green island very, very seriously. Lighting him on a 20 seconds in this post-plant situation. Bobby finds Adrian that spins up that kill.
Well, look at this. Lunox is right there, but Andrea has him covered as well. Sinji will find the shotgun on the Titan. But the plan will go down thanks to Struza. Sinji will time to work for him right there. The pressure's on, the stress as well. He needs to drop, he needs to find. Well, he needs to find both of them and goes for a shotgun in hand. Sees him, shotgun pop. He's gonna down him, he's gonna get him. Struza will go down, but 50 seconds left. He needs to get one more. Can he defuse it? Or will Naglo will interfere?
Oh,
He is him right there. The time, no. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter what's gonna happen.
Might be able to get the crossfire through the hole and the angle through there. One more pushing Will Smith right the third. Yes, he does. The first round is all split.
But not too far back. Lion is going to stop defenders from moving. I don't see.
He does get spotted out, and he shoots the drone just down.
5 versus
Then Plant is all on den.
5 versus 0.
Smashes kill him at den.
Everyone
Uses the
apart.
shot. Alec gets that first kill. Alec with the second.
Alec manages to close out the ace clutch to win the round.
I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna stop her. I'm gonna work harder.
crossfire through the hole and the angle through there. One more pushing Will Smith right at third. Yes, he does. The first round is all split.
Back, but not too far back. Lion is going to stop defenders from moving. I don't see.
He just gets spotted out and he shoots the drone distance.
Five versus
them
five
all on
versus
Den.
5 versus 0.
Matches kill him and
Rips
Den
everyone
uses the
apart.
shot. Alec gets that first
Let's
kill.
go!
Alec with the second.
Alec manages to close out the ace clutch to win the round.
I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna work harder.
We're on. Hello, welcome back. I hope you stay tuned after that, interesting, I guess, aggressive match we had on Clubhouse. It was a minor, so, there's not much to expect, but we got something out of it. So let's actually head on to what we're going to be seeing right now. And for match 2, it's going to be major. It's going to be a bit more interesting, a bit more skill involved. I just hope it's going to be a lot of less of aggression, at least to say that. And it's going to be a best of 2, Pretorian versus Humble Academy. So it's quite an interesting map. And we're going to be seeing 2 maps that we don't see that often. It's not Oregon, it's not Villa, it's not Clubhouse. Believe it. And it's going to be playing Bank and Chalet. Quite not maps we see quite a lot, to say the least. It's not Clubhouse, so I'm not going to complain. And, we do have something on the line yet again, just like before. So if Pretorian wins, they will be actually taking back first place from Laburnum Gaming, and they are guaranteed on that spot. So they can't go back down. And if they drop, Pretorian still takes over first place and Humble goes over to the 7th. So, Humble are fighting for quite a lot, and so are Pretorian. Pretorian are right now going for first place. Humble is just going not to drop to 7th. Now, if, of course, Humble wins, they would still move over Old Track Esports on the 7th place, but eventually, at the end of the day, Humble doesn't gain much. And, Pretorian, I believe Pretorian do have a lot more on the line. Now, for the votes, for the Major League staff votes, Pretorian, not only are they going to be first place if they win, but they also have an 87% chance by the votes, with Humble being 13%. It's the same type of percentages as before. So let's hope that it isn't the same case where, Humble actually ends up demolishing Pretorian, but we're going to have to see that. Now, I'm going to be joined by, yet again, our lovely caster, Reprince. So, Reprince, do you have anything to say yourself?
So first off, I want to say I hope that the staff votes don't curse this game as well. It's the exact same percentage votes for Pretorian and Humble as it was between Nerf Miner and their opponents, and it was Invictum that took the game on that one. I hope it's not the staff votes that keep cursing these games. Just fingers crossed. But I do have something to announce as well. We did see it in the ads run a bit earlier. We have Titan Series Season 2 qualifiers coming up. So you can now go on Tournament. You can find the link. I'm sure you can find it somewhere. And you can go onto that website. You can register for the upcoming qualifiers. That's going to be the Titan Series, second installment of that. And another thing that we can proudly announce is that there's going to be a Valorant division coming up for Talent League. So Talent League is going to expand all the way into Valorant. So another game coming to you, bit of a different production as well, a different game, just expanding the horizon. That's going to be great.
You always love to see it, to say the least. I mean, going on to Valorant, personally, I don't know much about Valorant. I just played, so I can, I don't know, rush B or what. I'm not a CSGO Valorant player. Don't call me out for that. But, it's quite interesting, Talent League's just going to expand more. We're going to have even more, and you guys are going to have more to watch, if you like Valorant, if you like competitive Valorant, you're going to have a lot more time to waste on Twitch. Isn't that fun? Now, with that in mind, we still do need to wait on the player, so, we can talk about the previous match, and I don't think there's anything more than say, but one word: aggression. Aggression was the match, and although Nerf Minor did actually... They were playing ranked, pretty much, it felt like. It felt like a Platinum Gold lobby. And even with an Oryx running out 2 times, I believe it was Jobama. A very interesting name, it got me giggling a few times. But with Nerf Minor, they did not come out the winner. The aggression was holding up for them, and they managed to actually successfully spawn peak around 4 rounds in a row. Which is, it's quite surprising. It's not something you see every day. Now, this is major, so I believe these players, or at least I hope for the love of everything that is good on this planet that we are not going to be seeing that type of aggression. And I hope we're going to be seeing a bit more, adaptation, a bit more new strategies, new comebacks. An ace or two would be nice. There's always something you got to fulfill. And we haven't seen it today. So, let's hope we actually encounter it.
I mean, as much as I like strategy and as much as I like structure in these games, there's something that I like more, and it's just going for these gunfights, going for aggression, and winning those gunfights. You can go for aggressive plays, but you need to have the confidence and you need to have the skill to be able to pull it off, and a tiny little bit of timing. That is something that always plays a role in Siege. But just, I don't want to see no aggression. But if you're gonna bring as much aggression as we saw in the minor game earlier today, then you need some skill to follow that. Here in the major, we might have that opportunity. Pretorian are quite aggressive, but they're also a pretty good team. They're well put together, so I'm expecting them against Humble is going to be a good matchup in that regard.
Yeah, most definitely. It's going to be quite interesting to see. So, we're still waiting, but let's actually, Ripens, let's talk about the maps and the bats. We had the bands previously were quite interesting. It was the two new operators. The new one, I believe, it was something I forgot the name, and it was
Sense.
Azami. Yeah, thank you. It was Azami plus him, and the dynamic duo. So it was two of the newest operators plus two of the most default band operators. But that was, of course, that was minor. Let's talk about major. It's gonna be Bank. So I personally, I'm gonna say I expect a Hibana, Thatcher, Cade, and Valkyrie ban. What would you say, Reprints?
Oh, that's boring. I don't want to see boring bans. I want there to be a Thatcher and a Kite open so we can see some tricking play coming through on the
Okay.
hatches on basement. That would be lovely. I do see where your bans are coming from, but that would leave the Jackal open. Jackal very good at clearing roaming
True.
presence. If you ban out the Jackal, then Vigil becomes very powerful. Do you ban Jackal and Vigil? Do you ban neither of them so they counter each other? What do you do? So the question is, if they're going to go for a Jackal Vigil ban, which I suspect might happen, it's more of a 50-50. If they do that, it's going to be an interesting roam game, but I think it's going to be a more spicy roam game when Jackal and the Vigil are on the board. In terms of other bans for this map, obviously you can always take out the new operators. Since newly coming into the game, now that there's no quarantine for the new operators, you can immediately have access to them. So the same way that everybody gets to play with the new op the moment it comes out on the new season, the pro scene and the comp scene is going to be able to do the same thing. Sense has had some success already on Bank, and I am curious to see if the new operator might come out. Because these smoke walls that come through, those light walls for Sense, are quite powerful in setting up executes, for instance, on the basement or on CEO. On those two sides, I could really see it coming through. On the other hand, Azami is a very powerful operator all around. I've seen it played so much now. And for good reason, because Azami is an absolute game changer, the same way that Mira was when she came into the game, because it's just a completely different way of interacting with cover. Azami can create cover out of nowhere, and she can work as kind of a weaker substitute to Castle in that regard, but much more versatile. And although, like I said when we were watching the minor game, I thought that the bans were kind of memey, getting rid of both the new operators, I still think that Azami has some point to being banned on Clubhouse because she completely changes the way that you play Church. I've seen it a few times now, and I'm curious to see if we're going to see it in this game, because if Azami is open, she should get picked.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking about like that, okay, before I was being realistic, but what I would personally want, if we go back into the past of Siege, okay, I would want to see, a competitive scene that has these bands specifically. You have Thatcher, Jackal, okay, pretty strong operator, and then just Cav and Clash, or Cav and Echo. Just the normal old time, or maybe even a Blitz instead of the Thatcher. Back when Blitz absolutely shredded anything that came in his way, and an absolute demolisher train he was. Anything that followed behind him could not get damaged. So, it would be interesting to see those bans, or at least that type of setback on the bans. Now, we're probably not going to be seeing them. To be quite honest, I'm not even going to be positive about it. This is comp. No one's going to do that. No, I hope. Please don't listen to this. I
You've
hope
cursed
no
it.
one.
You've cursed it. They're gonna do it now.
Oh, the caster's curse.
The
Please.
Amaro ban is coming in.
Oh God. Oh, what have I done?
There's so many
Oh.
operators that you could ban that are. I feel like right now in the game, there's so many operators that you could ban them, you could take them out, and it would be. We would be sitting here on the caster desk just laughing about it. But I think all of them have a play in getting banned out. Even somebody like Amaro on specific maps. It's not very common. It's not something you expect to see. But if you know your opponent, you can take out Amaro to prevent one or two specific takes that they might have wanted to go for. And the same is applied to not just Amaro, but every single operator in the game. And I think that right now, in terms of the meta, does have something good about it. It's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, okay. I'm not gonna say Amaru's bad, because some people really do enjoy the operator, but I feel like she has the best loadout in the game, I would say. She has an SMG-11 with the IQ's LMG, which is quite a strong gun. So I feel like, add some nades, and she may have huge fragging potential. I'm just saying.
Add some nades, a Gaunt 6, and healing abilities, and you have Finka.
Exactly, just
and
give her
Finka's
like
the
2
strongest
flash shields.
operator in the game.
Probably, yeah. I mean, just give her like 2 shields, and then she's balanced. Then only then is she balanced.
Well, I mean, Amaro does have play in competitive. It's just that she's so specific. You can do certain hatch takes, you can do certain window takes, but you need the right amount of team play around it, because Amaro going in a window alone is very obvious, and it's going to get countered absolutely immediately. Also, Frost is a hard counter to Amaro, and there is a few more hard counters like a gun. I think a gun counters Amaro pretty well. So any operator on the defense that has a gun is going to counter Amaro if you don't play her properly, right? So it's very hard to get Amaro right, and she's very specific, so very just situational. Unlike other operators, which are more broadly applied, something like the Finka and the Yana are always good on your entry. You can bring them every single time, and that's also something that I kind of want to see banned out. We saw it last time getting. No, it wasn't banned. We had Finka on the board. And I am kind of getting bored of Finka, and I like that some teams have started banning out the Finka, because Finka is very powerful, very strong. She's off the charts right now in terms of win and pick rate. They are going to mitigate that a bit by nerfing the LMGs eventually over on Ubisoft side, but for now she's completely unchanged, and she's just too powerful in the meta that we're in, where you need so much explosive utility and also the healing ability. She just brings so much to the board.
I mean, yeah, it is slowly starting to get kind of repetitive, but I feel like Amaru just fits into that one small group of characters that have this specific ability that, if it's in the right situation, it's overpowered. I would say like that. Not overpowered, but extremely essential. Like Glaz, I guess. Callie. I mean, Callie just has a very good gadget. Callie's gadget is absolutely amazing, but actually, I just got word that we're having a bit of a Uplay issues. So, Uplay is being just what it is in a nutshell. I guess you could say nothing new for Siege's side. But with that in mind, like, okay, we've talked about the bans, we talked about the maps. We can't. Do you have any history on the teams?
For Pretorian, I have a bit of recent history. They've been doing better thus far. They've been squaring up against a few teams within their own national sphere. So they aren't quite in the Spanish Nationals, but they have fought some teams out of that Spanish Nationals League, and they have squared up pretty well. I think if they were in Spanish Nats right now, they would probably be middle of the field. So you can expect Pretorian to be somewhat of a T3 team. It's a very good, very high quality T4. They've impressed me with what they've done recently in other tournaments, and I'm just curious to see what happens here, because if they win, they get at the very top of the standings, and that's obviously what they're going to be looking for. They want to beat out Laburnum, and they want to secure that first place, because, well, who doesn't want to be first?
Yeah, but with the issues in hand, let's actually, I think me and Reprints are starting to slowly run out of words, so I doubt any of us want to be here right now wasting time, so let's actually go on a break, Stay tuned. stay here with us. We'll be back in a jiffy. We'll be back very quickly as possible. We just got to solve this issue. And yeah, we'll be back in, I would say 5 minutes, even less. Bye-bye. Hello. Okay, we're back. I did say we're gonna be there in a jiffy, which is quite a small amount of time, but you know, 5 minutes is small. It's small enough. So, actually, we've talked about what's going to happen and what has happened. So, let's actually go on to the current state of Pretorian versus Humble Academy. It's going to be Bank first map. What a very interesting map. We don't see it much, and we don't see it. Actually, no, we do see it too little. So, let's actually see what Humble is going to be starting off. And it's not going to be Thatcher. It's not going to be boring like, you know, Reprints and I were hoping for. And they're going to be delivering that perfectly, as we're going to be seeing an Osa ban off the bat. Now, Pretorian, let's just hope they don't ban Caden Thatcher. Let's hope they go for, you know, you mentioned Jackal, Vigil, maybe Blitz, Echo. Those are two perfect bans. I have no problem with it. And actually, you know, I feel like, okay, Bank is a huge map, and it is extremely influenced by hatches. Even first floor, even the second floor, both are, even maybe sometimes the third floor, can all be influenced by the hatch. So Hibana being taken off the board, I feel is quite an important pick.
There's the Kite ban. It's the boring Kite ban. It's exactly what we would expect, but with Thatcher being on the board, I don't really see. I mean, you know, Thatcher is on the board, but we have Hibana gone, so it takes a lot longer to open up these hatches. So Kai tricking is a thing, even with Thatcher still in play. So Kai being taken out, just being more on the safe side, and a Jaeger ban coming through. There we go. That's what I wanted to see. So we see an Osa ban coming through from Humble Academy. They're getting rid of that shield operator on the attacking side. It is quite powerful in certain side takes, and it's very useful in this map specifically. Osa can be used all the way from top floor to basement. And the Jaeger ban coming through, that makes me think that Humble might, you know, they might go for some nades once they reach the attacking half. But for now, they start on the defense. So we'll have Pretorian going in with their attack, and we can see the usual suspects. Finka, Iana, we see Hard Breach brought on the board. Buck likely with secondary Hard Breach in case they're going to the basement. But we have a top floor defense first.
We do, and I mean, we do already see Iana and a Finka, so mentioning nades, though, will he be able to solo hold off 4 grenades coming from all sides? Don't even forget the Finka, you know, little nades she has. They can't, you know, well, they can kill you, but it's a low chance. Now, of course, we're going to get a bit of a pick. You know, we had a Thermite, but it seems we're going to be transferring over to Ace. I mean, spotting there upstairs, it's kind of usual and kind of normal. And you know what I like? You mentioned secondary Hard Breach gadget on Buck. You know what? Buck is not there anymore, so I'm just going to shut up and continue. They're going to be upstairs. A very unique build, I guess you could say. You don't have... the defense doesn't even have Breach Denial. They have a Valkyrie, which is extremely good for intel. They have a Thorn, a Vigil, just best roaming. A Lamai, you know, utility, and an Alibi. But there's no Mute, there's no Bandit. So, I think Humble, at least for now, is going for a bit more of a, you know, secure the breach around square and not actually protect it from the inside. So they're trying to protect it a bit more from the outside, put a little protection over it, just as, you know, adults do. But with that in hand, there's going to be some damage taken off of Bomb in. You know, it's barely half a minute in, and we're already seeing some very constant action and a lot of pressure being put on from windows, from square balcony, from, of course, even... I do believe that is going to be a bit more banana/lobby side. So, this is major.
Yeah, it is major. We have Bombi taking some damage. There was a spawn peek attempted by Nagwal on the Vigil. He was trying to get an outside peek over all the way onto back alley. He doesn't find anything there. Nobody crossing his paths there, so he's just going to be able to pull himself back. He does stay alive. About a minute off the board, and like you said, no denial on the wall. That's Kanto being opened, and that's VNMM getting the first kill onto Forever. So that's the opening for the side of Humble, and they're up in a 5v4. And there's another wide swing coming through from Nagwal, and he finds another kill onto Colts. So that's immediate early advantage for the side of Humble. And now he pulls himself back into the basement. Now they're playing it a bit slower. They're just composing themselves to try and maintain that man advantage. Because if you can keep this 5v3 up until maybe 30, 40 seconds left, you're pretty safe in winning the round.
Yeah, most definitely. The man advantage is there. The man advantage does put a big influence, and it gets dug even deeper as a kill onto Bami. That's going to be the line taking off the board. It's a 2v5. Of course, Truso not taking any type of hostages for himself. Both on Banana, but will they be able to prevail? They take out the Alibi, but a trade from the side of Raku, and he actually almost gets a wallbang, and Dano gets down, and that's going to be Raku with the secondary. actually getting a double kill. Very nice. I forgot. Is that the Ziz? I forgot what the secondary is.
C75. C-set 75. I think.
C75. I mean, underrated. I feel like it's underrated. You know, most of if you go on Vigil, if you go on Dokkaebi, I feel like SMG11 could be a better pick, but you don't see a lot of C75 in action. So you know, seeing a double kill from there, quite an interesting sight to see. Now, of course, they don't feel safe. You know, Humble actually did win, but they don't feel like going downstairs. You know, they don't have a Kate, so not too much hatch protection, and hatch protection is one of the most important things on downstairs. Now, with that out of their mind, they're going to be going open area, which is it's still quite hatch dependent, but it's a lot easier to roam since you only have one site to actually one floor of verticality, not two, as in downstairs fully you have to take control of two verticality to just, you know, actually waste some time at the end. And yet again, it's quite an interesting build we have here. We still have no breach now, so from Archives, it's going to be a bit more rotation, so they're going to be expanding their build. While Vigil still in hand, joined by the Alibi, we're going to be seeing some new operators, and it's going to be Castle, Ella, and Goyo. So Goyo, I feel like he's very strong. You know, they breach a wall and the Goyo canister is on it, or at least for the time waste and the damage it deals, it's quite strong. It's quite a strong ability.
I mean, Goyo, he has a lot of area denial, right? The fire, it burns for so long, 20 seconds if I remember correctly, and he has 4 of those canisters. Goyo has so much time that he can burn with. Technically, if you put them all in the same spot, then you detonate them one after another, you have about 80 seconds. That's almost half the round of just simple area and time waste. So, he's more powerful than Smoke or Tachanka are, but it's harder to make use of his gadget. And while I'm talking about that, Dano gets the opening kill from the side of Pretorian, so that's Pretorian finding their first opening inside of this first map on Bank here. An early 5v4, and this time around the aggression doesn't pay off. Raku, who had previously closed out the round with a nice 2k, this time he's cut down first. And now the question is going to be, can Nagwal maybe find something back? Can the rest of Humble maybe equalize this man count, or are Pretorian going to keep pulling ahead?
Yeah, it's going to be quite difficult. I mean, the clock is ticking. And, of course, with that in mind, the attackers still do have quite enough time. They have 1:50 on the line, and that's enough to execute. They can still prepare, but they already have the 3rd floor in sight. And we see a bit of a flank, and it actually manages to come through as VNMM does get a kill onto Rafa, and that's going to be a kill onto Thermite, a very essential operator. Yet again, it's a hard breach. They still have secondary hard breaches for the hatches, but main breach from Archives, from, you know, bottom square is not going to be there as Thermite is taken out, and a nade kill onto Nagwal, and that's going to be the Vigil, and another kill from Kotz. It's getting heated. Kaizen gets taken out. It's a 4v2 situation right now. Shrusa and VNMM are in quite a tight position. You know, the Goyos are starting to get lit, and the site does seem to be mostly under control. No defenders on site, but will they be able to defend it from the outside? They can maybe go for a flank or two, but I do believe we saw a bit of a claymore there. It's quite possible for them to still make a comeback, but it's going to be very hard to say the least. Strussel right now defending it on his own. What will VNMM do, you know, to actually support him from all the way from the outside of sight?
It's heavy man disadvantage, and it's gonna get even worse as Bombi gets a kill onto VNMM, and that's all down to Strosso. He's in a 1v4. He has to hold off these Pretorian players for a solid 30 seconds. There's just so much time for them to still go for an execute, to find out where this last player is and to just dispatch him swiftly. They have burnt out a lot of the Goyo canisters earlier on. They got rid of them quite a bit earlier on, so he's not going to have them in the late round. And Colts, he finds them from outside the printer window, and that's the very first round for Pretorian now.
A very good run, to say the least. I mean, the man advantage was transferred over quite quickly, as the Alibi did get a flank. You know, she did get a flank onto Thermite, but then things started to get heated more and more as the verticality was included, nades were in the meta, to say the least, and everything just dropped down on Humble Academy. They couldn't defend with at least as much pace as Pretorian was attacking, and managed to get them their first round. So it's 1-1. You know, it seems like each round there's like this one huge dent, this one huge influence that just turns the tides by a huge margin, to say the least. And of course, that is kind of how you want to play it out. We haven't seen a round that's been actually quite, I guess you could say, close. You know, the first round it was Humble Academy absolutely demolishing, then it was Pretorian. So, you know, they do seem to quite stand up to each other, but it's the person who gets that first margin on their side that is going to be the winner of the round. At least it seems like for now. Of course, things can change. Also, the 4v5 on the screen, don't care about that. It's just Siege being Siege, okay? Just nothing new. So, yeah, it's still prep phase, and we actually see Raku upstairs with an interesting goated character. You know, we can see Oryx being quite actually strong, especially with, you know, I mentioned hatches are quite a strong thing, and his ability is, you know, a dash into a bump and hatches. You can jump hatches, which is quite interesting. So let's see if we can actually get a player or two, maybe a flank as well, jumping a hatch and going behind someone. So if we see that, that will be quite interesting to say the least. And, you know, the attackers, we're going to be seeing Bomby go Nook. So, you know, I'm not going to expect Nook to just rush into sight, but it is quite possible.
Oh, well, I mean, Nook is meant for sneaking. You're usually supposed to find an opening somewhere where maybe there's only a camera that's watching an opening for the defensive side as Colts gets himself in and is already going for some early engagements over on top main. The Nook is still sneaking over on the other side, and what I wanted to say between Raku and Colts fighting here is that the Nook is usually, maybe you want to go through something like Archives. Right now I don't see any physical player from Humble over in Archives. So they might have a camera to watch nobody going into tellers, but if there's a Nook on the board, they're not going to be able to see her. She's going to sneak right past that camera. They're going to be none the wiser, and then Nook is in a position where they don't expect them, and she's going to be able to punish. We've seen it so many times before already, and on this map, Nook is just so important because she just... this map is really big, so it's hard to have every angle covered, and Nook can absolutely exploit that. In the meantime, we have... I think that's the entry player. Colt's getting a beautiful crossfire, but he does get traded out. We have Dano already inside of admin, just taking gunfights onto the players inside of open area, trying to hold on. BNM just taking a bit of damage to one of the nades, but he is still alive. He is still in open area, and Pretorian will have to clear him if they want to get this control, and it has to be a trade. So BNM getting one more kill, wasting a bit more time. It's about a minute on the clock now. They're finally getting the hatches open in a 3v3. So good trade backs coming through from Pretorian, but really good time waste from Humble thus far, and also they've been trading out every kill, so they've been getting a kill before getting traded out. And that's very crucial, because if they hadn't gotten those kills, it would be a 5v3 right now, and we'd be looking at Pretorian setting up a comfortable execute. So that disruption is important.
I mean, yeah, most definitely. I mean, talk about roaming at its finest. They wasted not only time, but managed to get Nook and Diana out of the play. So, two quite strong operators, to say the least. Now, while everything is starting to close down on Humble, it left Pretorian, because of course, Malusi and Oryx upstairs. It left them with not too much time. They have 20 plus seconds on the clock, and will they be able to execute, drop down, you know, without going with too much consequences or too much fatal blows to themselves? They don't have a smoke or Tachanka, but that's going to be a flank from Warden. It was close, but not close enough. And Warden is quite an interesting pick. You know, we don't see... Warden is yet again one of those specific operators, and Magwell is going to get taken out by Forever, and another kill transferred over to Forever. It was quite a refrag. It was a take back. Plant is down with 40 seconds remaining. Will they be able to come back? The vault is coming in. Dano trying to just pick off anyone he actually can right now with Rafu. All of them are in a gunfight, and they're fighting for this round fully. Dano gets taken out. It's going to be Amplify killed by the Wamai, and right now Rafa is alone. He has the Thermite and a Dream. Will he be able to secure this, of course, diffuser till the very last? He actually does, and that's going to be... Oh, Dano did actually get a trade. He did not just get down, but he actually managed to down one himself. So quite an interesting pick, and that's going to be Thermite finishing up another round. This is going to be going to Pretorian.
So scrappy. What an execute coming through. Almost no time left on the board. Pretorian get the plant down just in time, and Rafa is able to hold off the remaining two players, one on the floor and one trying to chase after him. He is able to dispatch that player and win the second round. What an execute coming through, and just such a missed opportunity from the Warden to go for that big flank. Kaizen had the opportunity in his hands to just shut down that round, to close it out, find one player, and then maybe also find the planter, and that would have been it. But instead, he doesn't find great value. He does get taken down, and Humble just let that round slip right through their fingers.
It was quite close. Yeah, I mean, the Warden had it in his hand, but it just slipped up at the end. And it was most definitely be a complete game changer. Even if he dropped after the player and didn't shoot him, even if the audio cue was there, he could have still went for a gunfight, you know, pull out the shotgun, and they can't really go for a plant until they've completely taken you out. So a shotgun close range on the elevator with a warden, it does seem quite a suitable situation. So, you know, I'd rather take that than go for anything else, more of a, you know, mess up. But we gotta go back upstairs. You know, this is where Humble has won their first round. You know, they actually did quite well. The fragging potential came out perfectly, and you know, we do see a Legion first time. I feel like, okay, I feel like Legion is also not used as much. You know, you have the default picks in competitive. You have them, what, Ute, Aruni, Valkyrie, whatever you can, Jaeger, but you don't see Legion much. Most of the time you see a Melusi to slow them down, but Legion is not used. He has a great gun, great ability, but he just doesn't seem to get a fit in the spot always. So, you know, seeing him is quite a good or a joyful moment for me, to say the least. I do enjoy playing him as well. So yeah, but the attacking side, you know, we already see Dan repelled. He's trying to put as much pressure, and he is doing so. I mean, people have to stop rotating. He actually almost gets taken out, but will he be able to avenge his HP with a good grenade? He does not manage to, but he has a Finka Adrenaline Surge right there to back him on, actually pat him on the back to back him up, you could say. And that's going to be a run out from VNMM. And he actually delivers the kill on the Finka. Will there be anyone to refrag him? There will be Rafal with a kill onto the VNMM. So a trade back kill, quite an interesting one. And that run out, risky, but I guess to put off pressure, it was quite worth it.
I don't know if it's the correct operator that you want to be losing on a jump out like that. He might have put down some of his magnets already, but the magnets charge up over time, so losing the Wamai this early on to the jump out is not that great. But on the other hand, you trade out a Finka, and like I said, Finka's such a powerful operator. She has so much utility, all those nades, and there's a peek on ATMs from Strusa. He almost finds a kill, but instead he's going to get tagged up and he has to run away. He has to head for the hills as Bombi is just kind of aware of that. They must have had a drone over on ATMs for Bombi to be aware of it. Not even a single shot connected onto him. So Strusa was trying to go for something similarly aggressive to what VNM does, but just not quite working out. At least he does stay alive though, and we remain in a 4v4. No more healing left on the board for either team means that Ying and Goyo are going to be stuck on the HPs that they're on. Rafa in the meantime going for a breach onto side already, so with 45 seconds they're going to set up an execute soon. There's going to be the smokes coming in. Rafa, he takes half HP off. Bombi gets a kill onto Strusa, and now there's the plan coming through. There's a plan for Pretorian, and now they have to cover it. Forever is going for a wide cover. Bombi gets another kill. Beautiful double kill in the round for him, as Nagual and Kaizen are left in a 2v4. They're gonna start running out of time, and they're both stuck inside of long desk. One is trying to swing over onto main stairs, but there's somebody waiting for him in stock. He has to be aware of it. And he's wasting time. Oh, no, never mind. He finds the player of Bombi who's up on the skylight. What a beautiful shot from Kaizen, but he's finally getting caught out by the player in stock, just not aware of where Colts is playing. So it's all down to Nagual, and he's not gonna have time to defuse here. Rafa takes him down, and that's Pretorian winning their third attacking round.
I mean, well executed. I mean, they got off of Wamai, which was actually quite essential. You know, you said that his things do charge over time, so do Finka's, but we have to remember, Wamai can counter a Ying and smokes. So, you know, without Wamai getting taken off the board with like extra 3 Wamais on hand, he actually could have prevented that full execute. Maybe a Ying or 2 could have been passed if he mostly focused those Wamai gadget he still had left on the main breach. But at the end of the day, I believe it would have been quite essential. I mean, the plant would have been down a lot harder than usual. Now, with a Ying and smokes in hand, it's quite hard to just... You can have a C4 and a Dream, but besides that, maybe you don't have much to go by. Maybe a flank, but Ying is quite hard to counter. You know, she's one of those, yet again, specific operators. If she gets to the end game, if she gets, you know, to the breach, to the plant, she's just almost undefeatable. That's why Warden there would be quite strong, but that was the one of the rounds they did not bring him, which was quite unfortunate to say the least, and we're going to be going back downstairs. Now, will Humble Academy be able to make up for the mistakes? I mean, the time wasted and the players killed on the roaming was absolutely phenomenal. They actually managed to do their job as roamers. You know, they wasted time, they got him down to the last minute, and it was quite phenomenal to say the least. But the Warden slipping up on the, of course, on the hatch was not was not preferable. Was not preferable to say the least. And you know, it's gonna be, we're gonna have to see if there's gonna be any more or much adaptation. And Bobby, being the sneaky player he is, he's already into lobby. Is he gonna be able to get a jump onto any operator? Maybe we're gonna be getting quite a quick kill, as lobby does seem to get already challenged by 2 players, and that's gonna be Bomby and Oryx, 2 of the most. I guess Oryx is a fraggy operator, and so is Nook, especially when the jump is included.
Well, both have SMGs in hand, both have the 1.5x attached. Bombi, again, he's doing what a Nook does best, which is playing that lurk role, playing in positions where you wouldn't really expect an attacker to be, and he's using his gadget to the effect that both you're quieter, and oh, what a punch hole coming through from Dano! Just a beautiful punch hole over onto the double windows. And he does find that opening pick, and that's Pretorian finding the opening thanks to Dano yet again. Just Humble just making a few mistakes on that top floor roam. Rocco getting himself caught early. Strusa, he gets tagged up as well. I'm not sure from where. He goes down to very low HP. Has to pull himself back as well so that he isn't lost in the gunfight too, because if they lose another player, they're facing down, they're staring down the barrel of a 5v3. And you don't want to be in a 3v5 when you're facing an execute. Especially not against Pretorian.
Oh, definitely not. I mean, they don't have the yank to make the execute a lot easier for themselves, but they still have the man advantage. They have a Finka.
Venom is hiding.
Ooh. True. Very true. But even then, the execute can still come down. But, of course, Humble is still quite holding their ground. You know, they haven't completely taken out hold of everything. Even the hatches are open, but it's going to start getting brought down onto them. Now, we don't see much flank. Actually, I take it back. Well, Lucy's already on the flank. Takes out Forever. It's back to a 4v4. No more man advantage. Only HP is a bit more based towards the side of Pretorian. And with a Malusi there in open area, not only will it waste time, but she can protect sites from upstairs. Gets almost another kill onto Yana, but gets taken out by the Finka. And that's going to be quite an interesting kill. It's a 4v3 situation from Pretorian. They have 30 seconds on the clock. The Womites are starting to come into clutch. And will the hatches be in play? Of course, Truso right now in garage, but the plan is already going down. They don't know it. The smoke tries to do everything in his power to prevent it. He takes some damage himself, but it actually gets restarted. The plan gets restarted. Nagwal down. It's a 4v2 situation. It's going to be a team kill from the smoke canister. Bombi with another kill and a second, and it's going to be finishing it off with the 4th round for Pretorian, and round 5 being collected by the attacking side yet another time.
VNM was hiding over inside of Printer, and I think it was Dano's drone, I'm not sure. Somebody was droning out open area, and they just didn't drone Printer deep enough. You have to drone that deep. You need to check that corner, otherwise you might have a guy hiding there. VNM gets away with a kill. He wastes a whole lot of time. He regains open area temporarily, which cuts off any rotations that Pretorian are trying to get through that part of the building. So they have to get rid of him. They eventually do deal with him. Dano gets a beautiful shot onto him, dispatches him, and Pretorian still have enough time left to execute. But that's something that could have cost Pretorian the round. Just a simple drone not being in the right position, not droning just that slight bit more. And you can't be allowed to make those mistakes. On the other hand, we have Humble, who in this execute were really scrappy. The smoke canister got one of their own teammates killed, and we just have the Nook who just keeps pushing through sight, and Bombi is so good in getting these plant coverage kills. We saw it on the top floor. He got 2 kills while Thermite was attempting the plant, and now here in the basement again, there was an attempted execute, and Bombi just gets the final 2 cleanup kills. He just completely denies anybody that's trying to stop that diffuser going down. And so Pretorian keep winning these rounds off of their executes.
I mean, yeah, it's these visible mistakes, but they can be fixed easily, and especially that droning. That droning, you've mentioned it previously, and I'll mention it again. But before that, I'm going to mention how Rafa got taken out by Raku. Both of the Raz are going to be in a bit of a battle, with a Vigil actually managing to come out on the top and taking out a Heart Breacher, the main Heart Breacher of the team, the diffuser carrier, you could say. It's going to be the Thermite taking off the board. I mean, you still have the Buck. But just imagine this. If Buck right now gets taken out, they have no more Heart Breach. Actually, wait, no, Bombi still has. My bad. My bad. But yeah, it's quite interesting. You know, it was a bit of a spawn peek, I believe, from the Vigil side, and it actually worked out perfectly. Now, not only is it wasting time, you know, you see all these rotations, the expansion, and another kill onto Danu. It's going to be a kill onto the Finka, very important operator as well. And Struso will be taking another live as Bombi does manage to take out Struso off the board. It's going to be a bit of a revenge kill, but it's still a 4v2 situation. Even Raku noticing the man advantage they have, he's going to be backing off. Bombi, in the meanwhile, getting a kill onto Kaizen, and it's a 1v3 by VNMM getting a kill. And, of course, finishing it off is going to be the SMG 11 brought on to the Yana player. Very interesting match.
Such a good top floor roam hold. So instead of trying to play for time, which you should usually do on an extended hold, we have Humble going for those picks. Raku gets an early opening kill onto the Thermite. That's not only your hard breach gone, but that's also your diffuser dropped outside the building in front where nobody else spawned. I saw the diffuser was still down at the end of that round, so nobody coming to recover it either, which would have taken like at least 20 seconds with how big the map is to traverse it and get that diffuser back. And they just hold on to the top floor. Raku gets 2 kills. We have Struzo coming in as well, getting a third. And at that point, they have enough man advantage to just hold their ground. Bombi's trying to cut off the player that is going down main, but the player on main doesn't have to commit falling back downstairs. He can just stay upstairs because he's killed everybody on top floor. So Bombi's lurk is essentially become useless simply because the entry players are all dead. And so that's a really good round coming in from Humble. So they are able to, clear their half with at least 2 rounds on the board. They're not staring down a 1-5. They're not staring down an 0-6. They have something to work with here on their own attacks. And now we'll see what Pretorian does on their defense. They are choosing to go to top floor first. They are on CEO side. And we'll just go from here.
I mean, Pretorian are looking at a quite, I guess... I mean, this is an attacker-sided map. Although it can be a bit more defender-sided for roaming because, you know, the map is huge. You have to clear it a lot. It's still a lot more availability for the attackers. So, you know, it's quite interesting. But I kind of had to stop right there because, you know, I still got a bit of a flashback from the Amaru chats we had earlier. And as soon as I thought about that, I heard the zipline. And it actually... Yeah, let's hope we actually in place. We do have an Amaru, and it's quite interesting, but she's not going to be the one getting the first pick. It's going to be Bombi yet again. He's on an absolute roll, and it's going to be Kaizen getting taken off. The Nook who's supposed to be getting the jumps on people, and Bombi's just pre-firing everything, and he's actually working out with it, as he does take some damage himself. Now, not being completely taken out, it's, you know, better than nothing to get some HP off, but it's going to be Kaizen who's going to be getting the first fatal blow onto himself. With that in mind, I like Amaru. That's it.
Yeah, that Amaru pick on the ceiling is going to be really good. She's up on the roof now. She's gone over to the rappel. I think they chose the Amaru mainly to go for an execute in the later stages and for the early round to quickly get onto the roof to hold onto the skylight. Dano going down as well. And Bombi found the opening pick onto Nuk earlier on. And I just have to say, he must have been following the advice of Sun Tzu because he knows his enemy very well. He's killing the Nuk. Oh, what a peek from forever. They're not watching the stock windows. That's such a basic mistake. You have to be watching these windows. But instead, there's another kill coming over to Pretorian, and Dano, he's still bleeding out on the floor, so he might die. This is potentially a 4v3. No, he does get picked up. Dano in a safe position to get recovered means that Pretorian have not lost a single player yet, although Dano is low and Bombi has taken damage. But the NM is sneaking himself up the staircase. Oh, he sees the head of Bombi just slightly, but not enough to get a kill onto him. He has to go back downstairs. And Colts gets another kill. He just keeps making it worse for the side of Humble. And Humble are losing players left, right, and center. VNM goes down to low HP, but he finally does find a refrag, so that's 1 kill for the side of Humble in this round. And with 50 seconds left to play with, and only 2 players left standing, they have to find 4 players on the side of Pretorian.
Not only are they on a time limit, but they're also on a loss of players. At least this seems like they have the Buck and the Finka who have fighting potential, but it's not like Pretorian will stand still and wait for them to kill them, so it's quite a low chance, and they're even running out of time slowly but surely. It's 25 seconds on the clock, and what will they be doing? They have Banana under control, and so do they have Lobby, but they're just opening more angles to get themselves killed out of. Of course, it's going to be a kill onto the Buck, and instantly, the Finka does manage to get one herself, but instantly refragged instead. So it's going to be another round going over to Pretorian, and I believe that's going to be the 4th round in a row. Quite an interesting one to see. It's going to be the No, the 5th round.
No,
Because the-
Humble just won the last round of their first half, so this is the first round for Pretorian now, bouncing back after going down one more round, letting the half slip away. Pretorian had a shot at letting the half be a 5-1, but instead it's a 4-2, so now they pick up that second round, and now it's like nothing happened. Pretorian up 5-2. They're 2 rounds away from winning. They're 1 round away from match point, at least securing 1 point in overtime. I'm not sure what the standings are like. I don't know if you have a possibility to check it elsewhere, but I don't know if Praetorians still get first if they win in overtime.
I believe it's if they just win in general, because they're going against Laburnum. So Laburnum does as long as they get enough points to pass them. Yeah, it should be enough. Actually, let me check out the standings. We don't have them.
5 seconds to go.
Okay. Yeah, we just got word that if they go 1 point, so yeah, if they just win in any chance, they are going to first place no matter what. So, you know, that's quite a lot to take in. I mean, they're fighting for a lot, and they're most definitely putting up the fight for it. And let's see if they can actually manage to finish off with first place. And don't forget, they can't get taken over later. If they win right now, they are guaranteed on the first place no matter what. So right now, it's looking good. As a double kill from Coles is transferred over to the, of course, poor Ace and Zofia. Refrag does come over to Danu, but from the L85 on the sledge, but it's not going to be enough to make up for man advantage. Bombi looking a bit low on an HP, and Raku yet again pretty comfortable on the Amaru pick. Quite close to being in a gunfight with Bombi, so it's 2 pretty fraggy operators, actually 2 pretty fraggy people right now, close eye to eye, I guess you could say, and seconds away from a gunfight. While Finka is taking some damage herself, it's still man advantage for the team of Pretorian. They're still on a time, and they still have to actually pull out in time to actually get the diffuser, go into sides, take care of everything around it. And Malusi actually gets down. That's going to be Bombi on the floor and is back to 3v3, so no more man advantage. And as soon as I say that, Rafa gets taken out by the L85. Struso with a deadly shot onto the Maestro. It's a 3v2 situation, but will Coles be able to make up for it?
Coles is going in very aggressive here. He's trying to find a refrag to get back the man advantage, but Forever does it instead. And so now Coles is in a position where they're not really sure how to deal with him. VNM goes in and he almost gets his life taken for it, and Forever does finish the kill finally. So now it's a 2v1. Coles in that aggressive position can now establish a crossfire with Forever. They can keep Raku stuck in here. Raku did a really good job of finding Bombi over on that flank. He does waste a flashbang, but ultimately he does win out in that gunfight. He does injure the Malusi and finish her off, so that's very good. But now he has to find 2 more if he wants to win this round, if he wants to prevent a match point coming through. So with a minute still left, he has a lot of time to play with, but I don't think he has a whole lot of information. 1 player behind the bomb, a C4 coming through, but he has pushed himself onto the side. He is deep. He has a chance here. If he can single out these gunfights, he can come out on top. But both these players are closing in on him. They're just sneaking around whenever he's not looking. And the timer is slowly ticking down as Raku is just... the tension is building. He might get shaky in a moment as there's just a lot of pressure mounted up on top of him to be winning out this round. A lot of bullets flying right past him, whizzing past everybody. And Raku goes down to low HP and he gets taken out by Colts. And that's a beautiful round from Pretorian, putting them onto match point. And that secures them first spot because they have the round difference on Laburnum. And they also are too far away from anybody else to catch up with them at this point.
Yeah, Pretorian are looking very comfortable. So, you know, if they finish it up with another round, it's going to be a very dominant game. A 7-2 against Humble. I mean, the spots and the stages they're on is completely different, but Humble is still putting up quite a decent fight. I mean, it was man advantage for quite a second, but of course, Early Colts was not having it, and neither was Forever, as they managed to, you know, regain it and make it a 2v1 in no time. So, you know, right now it's going to be going downstairs. You know, we've seen some downstairs, but what's quite interesting is, you know, I lost words. English is hard. Yes. Well, we have seen a smoke kill, but we haven't seen actually a smoke denial. So, you know, the previous match in the minor, we've seen that smoke was actually very effective. He actually managed to get, you know, he managed to waste time, actually win a round or a few, but we haven't been seeing this much. The only thing we've seen with smoke this game, at least, is, you know, a team kill. which is quite,
And, I
quite
mean,
unfortunate.
yeah, no offense to the players, but I think the reason we haven't seen smoke used to maximum efficiency here on this basement just yet is because Humble were on defense previously, and I don't think they did a really good job at using the operator properly to deny for the remainder of the rounds that they had. There was executes coming through from Pretorian, and Pretorian were just using their guns to rip through Humble, and Humble just had no response. There was no util usage coming through. There was no denial, no information. It's just Humble kind of falling apart. That was a beautiful top floor drone, but it is going to get taken out by the Wamai. And now it looks like they're going to do a stock standard top-down take. So literally stock standard, potentially going for stock side over on S2, what I like to call top square. Humble, I think they're kind of reeling from that last round, because the last round was very hectic, very back and forth, and they're going to be kicking themselves for not winning it. So now moving into this round, just they're going to be cautious.
I mean, most definitely, but you know, it's interesting to see the new operator, and most definitely how he'll be used. He's like I said, I don't play much Valorant, but I believe it's Viper from Valorant that has a similar ability.
Yes.
Yeah, so you know, seeing him in action will be quite interesting, but does the Warden counter him? Does Warden see through the ability?
Yes, Warden sees through Sense's abilities. So it works just like a smoke. Everybody that can see through smokes can see through it. So we have Maestro who can counter it. We have bulletproof cams. We have also the Glass who can look through it, and Warden obviously on the other side who can physically look through those smoke grenades, smoke canisters, anything smoke related, and also light related apparently, because Sense isn't technically smoke. It's light.
Ooh. I mean, Warden doesn't get blinded by flashes either, so let's just counter it like that.
That does make sense, yes.
Yeah, but Sense is going to be quite interesting, and if the Warden doesn't get taken out, it's going to be quite a thorn in their side to take care of, especially with a minute and 10 on the clock. They need to, you know, they need to break hatches. They need to start closing down. They need to get the diffuser. We have a fuse, but what is he going to be useful for? Team killing another person? That's what I'm trying to say. You know, you need to start using the time, because mostly they're wasting it right now by, you know, Raku right now. If he gets taken out, there's going to be no other to refrag him. They're a bit too spread apart. And even with the Warden, if he gets a kill and doesn't get killed himself, he's going to be even a bigger hindrance to the Sense himself. Now, trying, even with a close-up shotgun and a shield, he's pretty safe. And they have no grenades and a Rooney gate, and he actually takes it out. Raku, speaking of the Twitch, she gets taken out. A quick refrag onto the side of Finka. It's going to be on Danu. He's going to be taken out. And a smoke player, a very essential, I guess, denial player, is going to be taken out, as even more refrags are coming in. VNMM gets one onto Bami, and right before that, and even Kaizen one onto, of course, actually Kaizen gets taken out himself. So it's going to be going quite down. It's the man advantage, a triple kill from Forever, and it's a 3v1, and that's going to be Rafa finishing it up and winning the first half, or the BO1 of today, with a very nice shot indeed, and GH in chat.
It's a very beautiful first map. We see Bank being won comfortably by the side of Pretorian, just not really much fight being put up by the side of Humble, but Colts did really well here. Colts did really well, and Bombi did really well. On the scoreboard, we have Forever, who's been sneakily just amassing some kills, but for the most part, it was really those two that were able to shine through here on this first map. So I'm curious what Chalet can bring.
Yeah, most definitely. But before we head on to the second match of BO2, shall we go on a 5-minute break? All right. Then we'll see you in about 5 minutes. Bye-bye.
But, you know, the positions have been revealed by these guys, which means most likely they will try to exit themselves, and Echoes does get that first pick onto Ash, and it's absolute chaos going over. The Lion scans everything, and SCP is taken down to very little HP as Lion someone walks to the side, gets lit up to 1 HP, and then gets killed, and it is absolute carnage for the side of Machine Soldiers as all their players get taken out.
Go back through the double doorway as well. No one else there to take advantage, but oh no, it's happened.
Well, it's got it down one, it's got it down two, ladies and gentlemen. But there's right the third one as well, so no interrogation, 2 quick kills from Raku right there. Shotgun out hand, and ladies and gentlemen, flawless for the side for Humble Academy.
To the side the rappel first, not first one onto the roof, and that's why you always go for that river dock spawn, right? You get there nice and quickly. Icox finds the first pick though onto Rosie the rest of the round, but it does mean they'll hold onto shop for a little bit longer. Trying to play the tight angle with the shotgun. The flashbangs coming in though will completely block smoke, and Icox gets himself a double kill.
I'm still doing a great job in this one, and well, I gotta say, you know, everything you do well, if you're good at something, never do it for free. And speaking of this, that's the reason why Godin is gonna prove it. They're good. Only Takamut, the only one left, the mute, he's trying to give his all right now, trying to clutch up. The fuser has been blended. Shot's gonna go through, but no! Look at this. Noakes got it right there.
That is a nitro boom, which is absolutely perfect for them so far. Heavy find this player. He does. That's absolutely beautiful. But that'll be calls immediately taking out Fern. Isn't even worth it at that point. The 4 versus 3. That lead is immediately lost as soon as they go for it. Can this bandit be removed? That's the real question. It does indeed. Heavy potentially the round loser. So as of right now, time is ticking. 10 seconds on the clock. Heavy gets one of them forever. Plant is going on down. Rushing on through 10 seconds. That time has to push on through now through that garage. Sensitive up on that side. Bomb again. Heavy fire from Heavy. Taking that green island very, very seriously. Lighting him on a 20 seconds in this post-plant situation. Bobby finds Adrian that spins up that kill.
Well, look at this. Rivers is right there, but Andrea has him covered as well. Sinji will find the shotgun on the Tyson. But the plan will go down thanks to Struza. Sinji will time to work for him right there. The pressure's on, the stress as well. He needs to drop, he needs to find. Well, he needs to find both of them and goes for a shotgun in hand. Sees him, shotgun pop. He's gonna down him, he's gonna get him. Struza will go down, but 15 seconds left. He needs to get one more. Can he defuse it? Or will Naglo will interfere?
Oh,
He is him right there. The time, no. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter what's gonna happen.
Might be able to get the crossfire through the hole and the angle through there. One more pushing Will Smith right at third. Yes, he does. The first round is all split.
Back, but not too far back. Lion is going to stop defenders from moving. I don't see.
He does get spotted out and he shoots the drone discount.
Five versus
Then Plant is all on Den.
5 versus
He's
0.
Smashes kill him and then
Everyone
loses the
apart.
shot. Alec gets that first kill. Alec with the save.
Alec manages to close out the ace clutch to win the round.
I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna work harder.
There we go. Got it off my camera. Just something was there. Don't mind. So, welcome back. Last game, we can talk about it, but not too much. We don't want to waste too much time with yours or ours or, the players. So let's just go quickly over it. It was 7-2, pretty dominant, especially for Pretorian. The votes were not wrong, but let's see if Humble can actually withstand the power on Chalet. Will they be able, to maybe do a bit of a comeback to make even a stronger push, you could say? We're going to have to see. So, yeah, we're going to be playing Chalet, a quite interesting map. It's not uncommon. It's not extremely rare. It's not common. It's just right in the middle. You love to see it or you don't. That's up to you completely. But, yeah, let's actually head into the match as soon as possible. Now, reprints, let's not talk about realistic bans, but let's talk about bans we would like to see. So
Funky
what would you
bans.
funky bans, what would you like
Funky
to see?
bans. Oh, for this map, it's tough to say. I mean, I could see a Frost ban, but I think that Frost is more fun when she's actually in the game on Chalet, because it's really fun to have Frost on Chalet. So I could see it. I don't want to see it, actually. And it is a ban that's kind of out there. I think both these teams know how to use a Frost and both know how to play against it. It's you look down when you jump through a window. That's how you counter Frost. The only implication of Frost is obviously that you can't look down at the floor and shoot an enemy while jumping in the window at the same time. So you have to do one of those two, or you clear the Frost mat. And that makes her really strong on vaultable positions, which makes her very strong on certain sites and certain maps. A Thatcher ban coming through, I am not impressed. I want to see something that's more special than that. These Thatcher bans are getting on my nerves. They're boring.
Humble, come on.
Give me something spicy. Finka ban, there we go.
We got it.
That's the overpowered attacking operator off the board. The most powerful one by far currently on the board. So much utility. An amazing gadget as well. And on top of that, she has an LMG. Just so much explosive utility, so much utility, and then 100 bullets in the magazine. What more do you want? Well, Humble don't want it. And they're going with an Asami ban.
Okay.
Choosing to keep the Jaeger on the board this time, and instead going for the new op.
I mean, Asami's it's understandable. It's understandable. Maybe they have bad experiences with. And now we're just yet again disappointed. A dynamic duo of Thatcher and Kate are going to be moved off the board yet again. No more chess pieces for them. And, I'm kind of disappointed. We don't, okay, maybe I would be against banning only one of them. But, maybe not banning both so they can counter each other. That would be a bit more interesting to see every now and then. Because, with Cade, you can still trick. And with Thatcher, you can counter it. So, it'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to say the least. But actually, let's talk about the setups. I mean, we're going to be going into Bar and Gaming. And we're going to be seeing an operator that's going to be joining us first time today. It's going to be the Flores. And I feel, I've said this multiple times and I'll say it again. Flores is one of the most underestimated operators. I feel like that because, on Oregon especially, people don't ban him and don't use him. But you forget, he can literally clear out a huge amount of utility. And with that, he can also damage people. And
Rafat just shot forever in the feet while trying to make the rotate holes. There's just some team damage coming through onto Forever. That's really unfortunate. Praetorian off to a bad start already. They're Wamai tagged up by their own smoke player.
Poor Wamai. I mean, if they had a Thunderbird, they'd be completely fine, but she's not in the line and no one's there to help him, so he's gonna have to go off of that, 75 HP, 80 HP around there. And, it's not the worst, I guess, but it'd be better to have that extra 50 or so, Wamai's gonna have to just deal with it, I guess. But with that in mind, let's actually see what the attackers are going to be bringing us. It's going to be a bit of a split push, but we can all safely assume they're going to be taking verticality, as verticality is key, especially on Chalet. And Bommy already taken a huge chunk of damage, just like Wamai. They're both set back on around 50, 25 HP. And with that in hand, a bullet or two may be able to finish him off already. So just any gun with a fire rate quick enough would be able to deal the finishing blow. Now, of course, with that in hand, it's already been a minute, time does fly by, and with that in hand, let's see what we're actually going to be brought by. Of course, it doesn't seem like the attackers are making quite a steady push. You know, better be safe than sorry, so they do want to waste their time, but not, you know, they do want to waste it doing most of the clearing, droning, intel gathering, utility wasting, all that type of stuff. And we already see Zofia, actually, she's on bottom blue, so it's going to be top to bottom, bottom to top. There's going to be pressure from all around. Top blue is not going to be so safe, as right now, it seems like Zofia is going to be there to maybe even get a bit of a backstab onto the players. And it's almost a minute and 30 into the match, and we're already seeing quite a lot of floors action. While the drone is shot out, he still can maybe get a bit more pressure, and you know, Lobby isn't getting taken out, neither is Kitchen, but at the attacking side, or Humble Academy is going to have to take a lot of pressure, or put a lot of it onto the side of verticality. And Bombi joined with, of course, another player. It's going to be a double kill onto the Twitch into Yana, quite an easily won, and a lot of man advantage. It didn't have a lot of HP, but they had a lot of gunfire to back it up.
Bombi finding 2 huge kills with about a minute left on the clock, so a lot of time wasted, not a whole lot of early engagements, and we see Humble, they brought both a Twitch and a Flores. That's a lot of drone utility. Rocco going for a jump in, and he's cut down by Rafa, but Rafa is traded back. So Rafa does deny the entry into the side, but he will go down himself. Temporarily a 4v2 for the side of Pretorian, but with 40 seconds, they're looking comfortable here. They still have pretty decent side control. But Kaizen has entered the building. He's over in bar side, and he is tagging up the players over on stock side. He is trying to go for gunfights. There's so many angles for him to challenge. He finds one, but forever finds the second. Rafa is picked up, and he will find the last kill. That's the first round going over to Pretorian.
Pretorian looking over to quite a good head start. It seems like they had a pretty strong hold. I mean, upstairs they could not be bridged. They cannot be taken over, especially when they come to downstairs. I mean, site was already by attackers. All attackers were in, and they still managed to put up quite a good fight. But even with a player downed or a player, you know, injured, all that type of stuff, of course, Pretorian could still put a stronger fight back. Zofia took out a player, but it was not enough for Pretorian to go down so easily and crumble, as they managed to punch back, or I guess you could say blow back, even stronger than before. So with that, that's going to be the first round ever on Chalet today, going over to Pretorian, and they're going to be moving upstairs. You know, it's quite common to see, you know, the downstairs side in ranked, but not so common in comp, as it's a lot easier to execute there, it's a lot easier to take over, and it's just better for attackers to go downstairs. You'd rather go kitchen, where you can hold verticality with a lot more, you know, safety, with a lot more confidence. So with that in mind, upstairs is quite a strong call. You know, you do have still verticality from kitchen. You can get from nades, you can go for bucks, you can go for anything literally, but you know, it's not like Pretorian won't do anything about it. They have a roamer, they have a Malusi, they have whatever you want. And what I like, you know, Smoke is quite alright. He can waste about 40-50 seconds around there with all those 3 smoke canisters, and it's quite decent. You know, he is good time waste. But we're going to be seeing good old Tachanka Kang with the LMG in hand. It's going to be a very strong operator. You know, Tachanka does need to pull out the Shumika launcher separately, but he can waste more than a minute, or actually around 2 minutes, I believe. It's 20 Shumikas, and each of them wastes how much? 7 seconds?
Wait. Is that intended? We have Rafa running barbed wire. I just noticed that. He's not running a shield. There's one less piece of destructive, destructive utility soak. That's what those shields are. They eat up your utility. He's not bringing that. So there is no shield on the board for the side of Pretorian, so they won't have a shield over on Piano, and Rafa's getting challenged early on from that bathroom window. He's tagged down to just 1 HP. He's really low now, and he's stuck in this corner. There's nowhere for him to go, and we have Ying already inside the building trying to find an angle onto him. Instead, Forever will get the opening kill, and Rafa's going to start using his fires already. He's exposed to the window behind him, but I think they've gotten rid of that player already, as it's a flurry of kills coming in for Pretorian. Colts, he gets a double kill, and that's all of the players from the side of Humble already down. It's all down to the bot player in the basement, VNM. He's just down there, and he's trying to find a pick somewhere. He was holding onto that staircase, but nothing will come from it, as there's still half the round to play with, but he has to clutch a 1v5.
I mean, Pretorian took those 5 seconds very easily and actually got a 4K in the meanwhile. So, you know, while the Buck is alone, the Tachanka is quite low on HP, but it's still a 1v5 situation. They almost have a flawless in their hand, and if this Buck doesn't get a kill, they will be securing. So, he's getting damage from all sides, and that's going to be a flawless. The second round in a row going to Pretorian and on defense as well, and a very, very nice flawless indeed. I mean, the flurry of kills just came one after another. Of course, the Jaeger flanking on trophy stairs, we saw that, joined by, of course, Forever and, of course, Coles. It just came in clutch. It's just a kill, but it never got refragged. You know, Humble didn't even have a chance to do something for their own favor. So at the end, Pretorian made a huge man advantage for themselves and actually got themselves quite a good round. I mean, a flawless round is always loved and, of course, favored by most eyes, I guess you could say. Now, we're going to be going, you know, I mentioned how bad, how not favored in comp the downstairs side is, and you'd prefer going kitchen, because with kitchen, you know, you can go upstairs, you can play vertical, you can do all that type of stuff, and you can be a lot more safe. You have a lot more expansion as a defender, although the attackers can get a lot more control. It's just better than downstairs, let's be completely honest and true to ourselves.
I've been casting HMBLE so much in recent times that I feel like a broken record just regurgitating what I say over and over again. But in terms of the sides for HMBLE, it's that upstairs is slowly starting to fall out of favor, but Pretorian made it work here, and I will explain in a second why I think they made it work. Upstairs is a very short list of things to do for the attacking side before they can start going for an execute. So there's really not a whole lot of things that Humble would have to do to get a setup ready, but Pretorian are stopping them at every step of the way. They're not letting them check off anything on that list. They're not letting them get any map control. As soon as that Ying gets in the building, she is shut down and just completely annihilated over on the solar side. So she's not allowed to use any of that utility. She's not allowed to have any map control. So the reason Pretorian are able to come out on top of that is just because of their aggression, and they're able to make it work because they don't let Humble do that step-by-step guide. Other than that, you know, usually people don't go to top floor. It's too short of a list, and people have the site figured out too well as an attacker for it to be really that great. So people opt to go into the basement instead nowadays. And of course, the first floor sites, they have a lot more depth to them because you can play vertically a lot in both directions. And so there's a lot more complexity to those setups, and there's a lot more complexity in clearing them, so the list of things to do is a lot longer.
I mean, true, very true. I mean, although upstairs it may be falling off, Pretorian still holding quite strong and, you know, standing their ground most definitely. Although no operatives have been taken out as quickly as in the other rounds, it seems like time is going down. Time is ticking, and Pretorian need to actually just waste a bit more. They should be able to get their third round in a row, while Humble is on a time limit. Quite an interesting hold right there from Mute Bombi right now, holding all the way from upstairs to quite an interesting angle, you know, denying even more for Humble to do. So just that denial that Pretorian brings up is absolutely amazing. Although they can get the breach, verticality for defenders is still an option. You know, normally you'd expect the attackers to have verticality, but defense is going to be the one taking it. And with the actually the Ying starting to slowly push up, smokes are coming out, the breach is open, but the Ying will try in her hardest to, you know, smoke it all out, flash it. No witnesses, I guess you could say, and in the end maybe they can get a plant down and just secure, because once the plant is down, verticality can't really do much. You can only go for flank, but that's mostly
Comes
it.
the utility, a
First
counter by the Warden coming through, but he is taken out. A beautiful double kill from the side of Struso. The C4 comes through to deny one of the players. That's Kaizen going down. The diffuser has to be recovered, and again it's taken down. Struso finds another that's a triple for him in the round. An execute coming through, only working off of the back of the Iana right now, and still vertical control for the side of Pretorian, and they find another kill. That's a double for Dano in the round. 30 seconds left, and the execute has fallen apart. A vertical nade coming through, and VNM gets it. They get vertical control, and it's all down to Colts, and Colts gets taken down as well. What an execute from Humble. Initially, it looked like it was going to fall apart, but instead, they come out on top with a beautiful secondary execute. They try to execute not once, but twice, and it works the second time around.
And that game came in absolute clutch. I mean, the diffuser was not down, but of course the frags came out. I mean, the gun potential on the attacking side has a huge difference between the defenders and the attackers. Now, with that in hand, they actually managed to frag out a lot more than the previous 2 rounds, and with that in hand, they got their first victory. So it's 2-1. Pretorian are looking too bad, but neither are humble. They're starting to get a bit more used to this map and starting to actually hold the ground a lot more than they were previously on Bank. Now, with that in mind, we do see one of the players maybe getting a bit of a leave, as we do request a pause. So, let's talk about the mistakes. The first 2 rounds, Pretorian were actually, I believe they were actually quite close to being perfect. And what do you think happened in this previous or the third round?
We might have a rehost coming through in a second, as Bombi is out of the game. Rehost is being called. I think we'll have confirmation on that in just a moment. So Pretorian, unfortunate. This is gonna, I think, ruin the pacing of the game right now for a little bit. But we'll get in the game again shortly. It shouldn't take too long. And in the meantime, we do have some time to talk about that round, because it was absolutely chaotic. It was very hectic. I have a few notes on Humble. I have a few things that I really want to say about Humble, because they took really long to get the map control that they needed, while they weren't really being contested by Pretorian. Pretorian were playing those spots on top floor, and they were never pressured because Humble were fighting themselves in the intel game, just droning out library and bar side. And I noticed that at around the halfway mark into the round, which is actually pretty close to when the execute already came through, they executed quite quickly. There was only 3 drones left. There was almost no drones left, and if you're playing with flank drones, which they most likely did, there was no Nomad. I don't think there was a Gridlock. You need those drones for flanks. So essentially you have no drones to gather any information. So they're executing completely blindly, and that is exactly what cost them that initial take. So they get in the building, they try and get the plant down, but they're denied not once, but twice. They kill the planter, diffuser's picked up, they try to plant, and then a flank comes through, and their planter goes down again. And the only reason they end up winning that is from a beautiful nade on the side of the sledge. I'm not sure which player that was. I think VNM. Coming through and getting that nade onto the vertical to take down Dano. And then the final kill is a 2v1. They're able to find the last player, Colts, who was inside of trophy side, but it's just Humble, just not enough information to go for that execute. Going for the execute a bit too hastily, trying to just do things too quickly. They don't have vertical control. Dano is on top floor and he just shuts down 2 players. I'm not sure how he's allowed to do that. And the only reason that the initial execute was somewhat successful is because we had an entry player, Iana, getting a triple kill. She finds 2 kills, shuts down the Warden, who's looking through a smoke grenade and Ying flashes, by the way. That could have absolutely backfired if those Candelas had gone off just half a second earlier, because then the Warden would have seen and the Yana would have been blind. So just a few mistakes coming through in that execute. It does work out for them, but very scrappy, very scrappy.
Yeah, it wasn't executed the best, but it did work out for them and win them the first round. So I feel like if they continue that spree of scrappy preparations, executes, working off of, these little crutch things. I don't want to say crutch, and no offense to the players, but I feel like that nade, if it wasn't there, of course, it would have been completely different. And if they don't work, if they don't start working without that, it's going to be Pretorian who comes out on top yet again, but they still have a chance. They made it back, and with that in mind, if they can continue this, this streak, this is the first round, and they still have a lot of chances to even bring Pretorian away from the first place. If they can actually manage to do that, they should be in a pretty good position. Now, while we're waiting on these, players to rejoin, we still have the votes, which we mentioned. It was 87% and Humble 13%. Now, I don't know much about the history of these 2 players. I maybe casted like both of these teams once, but that may have been a month or so ago, so I'm probably not gonna remember that. But actually, let's go for a bit of a break, since yet again there's some siege problems. So yeah, we'll be seeing you then. Bye bye.
But, the positions have been revealed by these guys, which means most likely they will try to exit themselves, and Echoes does get that first pick onto Ash. and there's absolute chaos going on with the Lion scans everything, and NCP is taken down to very little HP as Lion someone walks to the side, gets lit up to 1 HP and then gets killed, and it is absolute carnage for the side of Machine Soldiers as all their players get taken down.
Go back through the double doorway as well. No one else there to take advantage, but oh no, it's happened.
Well, it's got it down one, it's got it down two, ladies and gentlemen. But there's right the third one as well, so no interrogation, 2 quick kills from Raku right there. Shotgun out hand, and ladies and gentlemen, flawless for the side for Humble Academy.
To the side of the rappel first, not first one onto the roof, and that's why you always go for that River Dock spawn, right? You get there nice and quickly. Icox finds the first pick though onto Rosie the rest of the round, but it does mean they'll hold onto shop for a little bit longer. Trying to play the tight angle with the shotgun. The flashbangs coming in though will completely block smoke, and Icox gets himself a double kill.
I'm still doing a great job in this one, and well, I gotta say, you know, everything you do well, if you're good at something, never do it for free. And speaking of this, that's the reason why Godin is gonna prove it. They're good. Only Hakamut, the only one left, the mute, he's trying to give his all right now, trying to clutch up. The fuser has been blended, shot's gonna go through, but no! Look at this. Coke's got it right there.
That is a nitro boom, which is absolutely perfect for them so far. Heavy find this player. He does. That's absolutely beautiful. But that'll be calls immediately taking out Ferns. Isn't even worth it at that point. The focus is free. That lead is immediately lost as soon as they go for it. Can this bandit be removed? That's the real question. It does indeed. Heavy potentially the round loser. So as of right now, time is ticking. 10 seconds on the clock. Heavy gets one of them forever. Plant is going on down. Rushing on through 10 seconds. That time is has to push on through now through that garage. He steps up on that side. Bomb again. Heavy fire from Heavy. Taking that green island very, very seriously. Lighting him on a 20 seconds in this post-plant situation. Bobby finds Adrian that spins on that kill.
Well, look at this. Rivers is right there, but Andrea has him covered as well. Sinji will find the shotgun on the Tyson. But the plan will go down thanks to Struza. Sinji will find to work for him right there. The pressure's on, the stress as well. He needs to drop, he needs to find. Well, he needs to find both of them and goes for a shotgun in hand. Sees them, shotgun pop. He's gonna down him. He's gonna get him. Struza will go down. 50 seconds left. He needs to get one more. Can he defuse it? Or will Naglo will interfere?
Oh,
He is him right there. The time, no. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter what's gonna happen.
But are in siege. Oh wait, we're back in stream. All right. Okay, a bit of confusion from, I'm kind of deaf, so don't mind whatever just happened. But, we're back. Hello, welcome back, and we should be going into match. We're still loading in. We're still progressing whatever just happened the previous match and the previous round, and of course, with that in hand, we're going to be seeing a lot more. I mean, Humble Academy did kind of win because of the triple kill, which is actually a very nice play. Props to Yana for actually managing to carry that round very well played. A nice first round. So, not looking too bad for themselves. Yet, look, Pretorian going back to gaming and bar. They actually, in gaming and bar, they did extremely well. Pretorian, that is, as well. Of course, they stood their ground. They absolutely did not allow any type of verticality from, of course, Humble. And the only thing Humble had go for them was just run into sight and, Now, it seems like, I'm bullying slash picking on Humble Academy. No, just criticizing. Although, I don't think that's much. So,
Oh no, I am furious about what Humble are doing. I'm definitely picking on them because what they did in that previous round is something that they realistically shouldn't have gotten away with. It was a beautiful triple kill from I believe it was Strosso who got that. Good kills on that initial execute, but the strategy was there was nothing there. There was nothing of substance. It was way too early. They had no drones left for any type of information. They only really had flank drones. They had 3 drones at the halfway round marker. And they went for an execute too hastily. So I'm just kind of disappointed with them winning that round because it looked like it was Pretorian round and it should have been a Pretorian round just judging from the decisions that were made. And I think decision making is important, but at the end of the day, it's still a shooter. It's still a first person shooter, and Strosso is just hitting his shots, so Humble win the round.
Manufactured differently, what can I say? But we're going to be seeing a bit of a glass, which is quite interesting. Glass pick, you don't see it every day, and you most definitely don't see it every round. And Bobby right now, that was a bit, it was, let's not talk about it. And Wreck almost getting taken out. It's going to be the glass, but it's quite interesting. We don't see a lot of glass, and we don't see him getting picked quite oftenly as much. So, we're going to have to see what they actually manage. Humble has to have some sort of strategy with glass because, there's a specific thing where you always use glass. You don't use glass just because you feel like it. If anyone favors him, I support you, I guess, but not really. So, with that in mind, let's see what actually strategy they can bring up with the glasses. Shuso does take a heavy margin of damage, almost down to the last drops of his blood. And with that in mind, gunfights are going to get very heavy, right? I mean, it's 120 on the clock, and attackers are starting to close down. And the first kill is transferred onto Bombi by the Habana player himself. It's going to be Kaizen getting the first pick of the board with a very unique, I guess, pick. I mean, Bombi is the hot hand of Team Pretorian, at least it seems so, joined by Coles always. And another kill is going to be transferred. It's going to be a bit of a refrag onto Struso, all the way from Forever. Coles joining him onto the Twitch pick. It's going to be a 4v2, actually a 4v3 situation real quickly, as Coles actually gets taken out himself, but not completely. He's down on the main stairs. Forever there to support him all the way, but will he be able to get there in time?
Colts is, he had an opportunity to fall back to side, but he got greedy and wanted to go all the way to the basement, and that does get him injured. He is recovered, but he still loses a heavy amount of HP, so he's down to 20, and with 30 seconds left on the clock, Pretorian have man advantage, thanks to Colts getting picked up. Timer is ticking down. We have VNM over on dirt side. He's on dirt mud, just in a very powerful and very important position, but as Kaizen gets taken down, VNM gets one back from that position, as I mentioned, and he gets a second. Like I said, such a beautiful position. Colts takes down Raku, and now it's a 2v1. So VNM, he's gotten 2 kills already, but he has to get 2 more if he wants to win out this round, and he is tagged down to very, very low HP. 3 seconds left on the clock, no diffuser, no time, and that's Pretorian winning another round.
It's going to be the 3rd round for Pretorian, not the 3rd one in a row, but at least a decent try from Humble, as VNM did actually get a double kill. He needed 2 more to finish off that round. He didn't have the diffuser, but I guess he had the will to do it, but wasn't there enough, as of course, Pretorian did play it extremely safely. They didn't get too greedy, as we saw from, of course, Colts' side. Pretorian backed off. They wanted to waste the time. They knew the diffuser wasn't in his hands. He was in a 1v2. They wanted just to play it safely and win the round. No greed right there, and they actually managed to succeed with it. So we're going into round 5, one more round after that, and we're going to be going into a wall switch. And we're going to have to see if, Humble can, manage a bit better on defense. It's gonna be. I feel like they can do better on defense because attacking has a lot more choices, a lot more decisions, and all that type of stuff. And if Humble Academy don't feel safe with those, maybe defense will give them a bit more of an easier time. Now Pretorian can still put up quite a good fight. I mean, they've been doing so at least for the previous 14 to 15. 19 rounds, I guess you could say, if we count in bank, math, and of course with that in hand, it's 10 seconds down. We don't. It's just slowly gonna tick down, and we're gonna be awkwardly talking about this until it's 3, 2. Yes, I know how to count. No worries. Now, English is hard. English
Are you
is...
okay? Do you need any help?
I'm gonna get myself a drink of water. And,
Yes. Drink
we
something.
forget-
Reset. Let's get a little reset going. Give the
Yes.
casters some props. They have to cast a lot of games. We did cast a
I'm
minor
melting.
before this best of 2 as well, so just cut us some slack. We've been talking for a while.
I'm melting.
But in the meantime, we have Pretorian. They have that comfortable lead. They are on the defensive side, but the meta has shifted in recent seasons more toward favoring teams that are good at attacking. I know that attacking can be complicated, and if you have a setup for your defense, you can dry run it, you can set it up perfectly, and ADSs were being set up by Colts, but he gets tagged out from a nade from below. No vertical control from Pretorian means that the sledge player, it was VNM, gets himself onto vertical, and he just gets a nade tucked in from below. Forever gets a kill back onto Strussel, so they do equalize the man count, and VNM is tagged down to really low HP, but playing that Jaeger in that position is a good idea. I like the concept behind what Colts was doing, but if you don't have that vertical control, you're gonna get naded from vertical, and that's exactly what VMN did. He's been really good with those vertical nades. Those depth charges have really been hitting their marks on the side of Humble.
I mean, most definitely, there is no man advantage, but VNM has his grenades under control completely. I'm still melting. Okay, it's very hot, but you know what's getting even hotter? Everything that's starting to close in. 1 minute and 20 on the clock. It's below below half of the time, and Tachanka, you know, he still has all of his Shumukas. He's starting to deploy them very slowly, but it's gonna waste a lot of time. And if you walk through the fire, the damage dealt is absolutely insane. Just not as much as with Goyo. With Goyo, if you walk into it for like 2 seconds, you're absolutely done for. But with Tachanka, it's kind of similar. I guess you could say fire in the flames, you're not running through them, that's for sure. But it's 55 seconds, we're running down the clock, everything's getting shut down. I mean, Humble does have a lot of control, but not what they need to. They don't have much verticality. K9 balcony has just been completely abandoned. And of course, you know, Trophy's not even under the control. It's just window pressure and the pressure from Trophy side. So there's a few angles that Pretorian can right now hold, and they should be completely set. I mean, there's only some rotation cut off, but that's getting denied by a C4 onto the floor, is getting taken out. It's a 4v3 rushing in, but it doesn't work out. As Bombi gets another kill, it's a 4v2. It's all getting shut down. Floor's Sledgiana had no choice but to just accept defeat, I guess you could say. It's slowly starting to push into Piano, but that just rushing in doesn't work. Bombi gets a kill, and joined by Forever, they're going to be finishing it off for round 5. And again, I don't see Humble's point. You know, they went in alone. They allowed these 1v1s to come in hand. One went alone to the window, gets C4'd. Okay, mate, you're on the window. There can't be 2 people there. That's understandable. But then Piano, no one was. You just ran through the fire and just started going into gunfights alone. Same with the Yana, same with everyone else, and it didn't work out now, did it?
What I wanted to see from Humble doing a bit earlier, we did have Raku going on the rappel eventually, but it took him so long to get on that big window rappel. It cuts the map in half, and it prevents this Tachanka player from playing the position he's in, just continuing to throw out those Shumichas, just going again and again, just throwing out those firebolts that deny the main breach and that deny the default plan. But they have Raku going on it way too late, and then he immediately gets C4. That's really well played by Danu and Pretorian. They do really well on denying that big window there with that C4. I'm not sure if they would have had a run out prepped. I think it's very common to go for a run out. Not sure if you're going to do it this late into the round, but that big window player is important, and Humble just went on it too late and then had a completely fractured execute. The breach was being fired off, so they went through a Piano 1 by 1, and they all got shot down by Bombi, because Bombi is just hitting his shots right now, and he just walks through office and he gets all those kills individually. Another thing I want to add on is you're struggling, and I am struggling. We're both struggling pronouncing VNM's name, and I'm wondering if his name is Venom. It could be. It could be, but I have no idea.
Where would the 2 M's come?
Magnets. How do they work? I'm not sure.
Magnets, how do they work? Thank you. I'll remember that. Let's just call him Viat. I think let's just call him. Well, I don't know. Do you think he cares?
I don't know. I just call him V and M. I forget about that second M, but Dano is getting the opening pick onto Raku, and Raku he's down 0-3 since the rehost, just not doing too well right now. We can see Humble. The rehost isn't really flattering for them because they lose that one round where they did actually get some kills and where they were able to come out on top. Mind you, it was still pretty scrappy, but the rehost is doing them dirty on the scoreboard right now. That's
Yeah, I mean,
kind of sad
I
to
feel
see.
like rehosts are kind of, I wouldn't say cheap, but let's say you're like on a comeback roll, like let's say it's 7-3 and you start winning like 2 rounds in a row, like you're on that streak, you have the adrenaline, you're feeling it, and then just the rehost and you're like, well, I'm a vegetable now, can't play anymore. And that's kind of, I feel like that's what rehosts do to you. They just completely numb you out. You can't, you're just not in the traction anymore. You're not on that roll, and that's what I kind of don't like about it. I know it's necessary to get the players back, but at the end of the day, it just stops you in your path. Like you're like a steamroller, and then just a random wall of titanium just stops you. It's like why do we have to do this now? I mean, at the end, it's just Ubisoft. What do you expect? To have good service? No. Now, with that, it's 1 minute and 5. You know, time is starting to tick down, and Breach is open. Some verticality is still there, but of course, it's not completely covered, as there's still a couple of sneaky operators ready to take a gunfight or even ready to deny any type of breach. Nade's starting to drop in very quickly. This Yan is trying to, you know, get actually almost taking a bombing. Strasso just trying to be the VNM of the team. Gets a nade kill onto Forever. That's going to be smoke off the team. No more time wasting. It seems like there's no Tachanka to back it up. Now all we have is a 4v4 and men with guns. Actually, no. I want to take that back. People with guns, operators, and a 4v3 with a C4. It's only explosive kills. It seems like no more guns intended. Another Uzi kill transferred over to the Thermite. It's a 4v1 and an interest. F2. Yes, please take it, Reprints.
There's okay, a lot of kills happening for the side of Pretorian. It's all down to Nagwal. He's in a 1v3. There's not a whole lot of time for him left to play with. He also doesn't have Diffuser. The Execute just falling apart at the seams again. He does find 1 kill onto Colts, but with time running low, he's going to try and get himself down that staircase, and he will get cut down by Rafa, and they take the round yet again. Pretorian, this time around, coming out on top on kitchen side as well. They close out the half 5-1. And I just have to say, this time around, they lost 1 player early. And they stalled so much. They had more drones this time. I think they went for a bit of a better execute. This time around, sadly, Strasso... This time around, I think if Strasso would have gotten those kills again the same way he did last time, it would have been a much better round, and it would have been a round for the side of Humble. But he's just not able to do it. They don't get the plant down. They are denied successfully, and that's Pretorian going up 5-1. And in the meantime, another thing I wanted to mention... I think it's slipping from my memory now. I wanted to say something I've forgotten.
You forgot. Well,
Yes.
I can't blame you. My
The
brain
rehost
had
was
a-
so long, I've gone senile. I'm
Yes,
losing.
same here. My brain cells are starting to get over control
Oh,
by the.
I remember my point. Okay.
It's your
Last, like, in this game already, Humble were on the attacking side, and we saw so many great grenades coming out from vertical from VNM. And here in that last round, we saw a beautiful long-range nade coming out from Strosa to get that first kill. And I was wondering, they had the Jaeger planned out for Bank. Where were those nades on Bank? Why didn't they do those nades on Bank? That could have maybe had a much closer scoreline if they would have used the nades the same way they do here, because they're so proficient with these nades. They're getting pick after pick against Pretorian. Pretorian is only coming out on top because they have superior positioning and because they are winning their gunfights more often than Humble are. But just... Raku, please. Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for ADSing. Don't try to get that with the... he wanted to look cool. He wanted to look like he got that shot hip firing, but no. Just ADS. Get the drone. Yeah. Just aim down sights. Get that one.
Yeah,
30
but I mean,
seconds into the round.
yeah, I mean, it's like grenades. I don't know how to say it, but I feel like it's maybe they just haven't tried using them. But there's also superior droning. Just all. What a shot from Buck! A complete wallbang onto the Melusi. She tried escaping with her life, but Buck's not going to be allowing it. Of course, Forever not taking any hostages. And the droning that, you know, previous time on Bank, of course, Humble did actually manage to miss a Melusi not droning our printer over an open area. But this time we just saw superior droning from the side of Forever. So there's just a lot of superiority on the side of Pretorian. With that in mind, I do actually, yeah, I feel like maybe Humble doesn't have, maybe they're just strictly following these strategies. Maybe they don't, maybe one of these strategies say like, okay, there's like no nades involved, so they don't use them. I feel like maybe that's their mindset, which would be quite bold. But maybe that's how they go off. I'm not quite sure, but what a shot from Jaeger, a nasty one, all the way on the bathroom pixel window. Absolutely destroyed, and that's going to be the Malusi, and joined by Danu, the Zofia off the board. It's 1 minute and right below 20, and of course, things, yet again, like mentioned before, and I'll mention it again, things are starting to slowly close down. A lot of pressure, a lot of everything just being dropped onto the side of Humble, or Pretorian be able to manage out in time.
A plant is coming down for the side of Pretorian. Rafa is going for that plant. Raku goes for a run out, and he does take down Bombi. That's the big window player denied. Kaizen gets another kill. That's a 4v2 man advantage for Humble, but the plant is down, and they are getting more kills. They are able to find the last two, and they close out that round very quickly. That was a really good execute from the side of Pretorian, but they're just not able to hold on to the control right after that plant. A really good run out coming through to get that pick onto Bombi outside, and that is what I mentioned previously. When Raku was on attack, he got onto that window way too late. This time around, Bombi, he was on that window for a fine amount of time, but Raku knew how to counter it. There was an Oryx run out, really well played to dispatch that player, and that means you have a flood of Humble players now retaking the site and coming out on top with all of those gunfights. All of the gunfights going in the way of Humble, and so they deny match point for now.
I mean, Pretorian currently are going to be fighting for just what? They need to win one round, and they're going to be forcing Humble to fight for all or nothing for like 4 rounds straight. So putting that extra pressure on the defending side, along with, cutting off rotations, taking out players, it's just going to be a huge task to handle. So we're going to have to see if Humble, with the previous experience or whatever we've seen in the past few matches, will they be able to handle it? Because they've been handling it quite decently, but they haven't been executing and working with it as good as they've been handling it. Now, with Baron Gaming back into sight and Humble here, we saw that when Pretorian was Baron Gaming, they didn't allow any verticality. They didn't allow anyone in unless there was some sort of huge consequence or huge fatal blowback on the other opposing team. Now, do you think Humble, Humble, they haven't been doing the best, not the worst, I would say. But, will they be able to do that same type or same hold, that same strength on the upstairs hold?
That's the question that we will have to answer. We'll have to wait and see how strong they are.
Well, true. Fair point. But with that in mind, it's going to be first kill going on to Danu. It's going to be transferred on to VNM. It's going to be, of course, the nade killer, or the nade dropper, I guess, the alibi of the team, getting picked off first. It's going to be quite an opening kill, as Kaizen's already taken some damage himself. He has protection from a shield and an alibi, but it's not going to be enough for the grenade power, the potential, strength of the Bombi Lion. And with that gun, I feel like, yet again, Lion's gun is quite strong, so, they didn't have much of an option, but this is the first time I've ever seen this. Quite an interesting way to, exploit the Maverick pick. Is going to be on main stairs, and they're going to be going all the way to the connector hallway, I guess that's what some people call it, inside. And with that angle, it does cut off a huge amount of rotation. You have to either rotate directly between sites or go around by the blue side. So, with that in mind, that does cut off a huge part. And Droning's still coming in, and just compare how much ground and how much people the Pretorian has taken out in less than a minute, in less than half of the time, to what Humble has been doing. I mean, it's a 4v2 already. It's a minute and a half, and how much Pretorian has taken is just absolutely insane.
Pretorian are showing that they can do the same nade play as Humble can, and there's a plant coming down. Rafa, he's going for a plant, and he might be able to stick it here. 1 second left. He just stick the plant down in the default position, and now Strusa will have to go for a retake together with Raku, but they're at a heavy man disadvantage. They're not favored in this matchup, but they do find one. Rafa is down on the floor as well. Strusa's now going for a run out. If he can find this pick, it's going to be huge for him. He finds it, but forever trades back onto him. Rafa, in the meantime, is picked up as well. So it's a 1v2 for the side of Humble. And Raku has to clutch this out against 2 players, and he's starting to run out of time. He's running really low. C4 used, but there's a crossfire established outside that window. They're not going to let him get this defuse. He can hop onto the defuse now, but he will likely get swung, and he's going to get absolutely destroyed if he commits to this. But he does find one. But no time left now. He goes for a run out to try and clear up that kill, but Forever takes it, and that's Pretorian on match point.
Yeah, I mean, even if he did manage to get the last kill, was what, 5 seconds remaining? It would not have been enough for him to actually manage up. It was quite a good attempt. We can give him that. It was quite a good one. He actually managed to fake it out very well. But Humble currently, they have to win 4 rounds in a row. Reprints, they have to win 4 rounds in a row against Pretorian, who went 7-2 and now 6-2 against them, which is, I'm not going to say it's impossible. Look, I'm not going to be too positive either. This is not like My Little Pony movie where power of friendship solves everything. This is Siege, and you're probably going to get tortured more than anywhere. So yeah, with that in mind, it's probably going to be extremely hard for Humble to come back. It's, yet again, not impossible, but I very heavily doubt that it's going to happen. Maybe they can win a round or two, but Pretorian, they don't need to win this. They've already secured first place. They're already completely fine where they are, and they don't need much more, but they can still go for the win without a problem. I mean, it's just going to be better for their score, and especially for their points, everything in mind. They can just win. It's not a downside for them to lose, actually to win. So, you know, they have nothing to lose, really. And yet again, Humble, they're going same site. And let's hope, you know, they feel confident on bar and gaming. They were decently close, I would say, and they feel confident there. So let's hope they can, you know, work off these mistakes, you know, just fix everything they need to, and with that, actually manage to win some rounds at least.
There's something that I really need to happen for Humble if they want to have any success. VNM has to stop dying first. He's died twice, first in a row now. They were able to clean up one of those rounds, but the other round did go to Pretorian, and it's really costing them. VNM going down early, so early, without any refrags coming through, him getting caught in the basement twice in a row now, is just too detrimental for them to come back from it. Right now, I think we have Raku in the basement instead. We have a different player in the basement, and Nuk, we have Colts on the Nuk. He's just sneaking in the basement. Raku has to be careful that he doesn't get caught out here, but so does Colts, because Colts might get caught out. He just passes by him. He's now holding an angle onto Wine. I don't think he's aware of the player being in Boiler. That's a weird angle from Raku to be in, but he isn't being droned out, so Nuk is just going off of sound, and Valkyrie is not giving her any sound. Bombi dropping a Lamau in chat as he gets taken out first. That's the opening death for the side of Pretorian this time around, and that's the Flores off the board. I've seen Flores die early a lot in the Chalet game, weirdly enough, and his utility takes a lot of time to deploy, so we know for a fact that with how much time is left, he hasn't used all of his drones, so that's a big detriment for Pretorian.
Yeah, it's a lot of utility they could have used and wasted on the side of attack, but, I mean, they've covered also a lot of ground. They didn't know the Valkyrie downstairs were there, and the Nuk was seconds away from a gunfight, but it seems like Humble is going to be taking matters into their own hands, as it's going to be a double kill onto the side of Humble. 2 opening kills and no actual, you know, backlashes for them themselves. With that, it's going to be a 5v3, but Forever quickly closing it down to the 3v4, making it closer to an even man advantage. Just a kill away, and it'll be back to, you know, 3v3. And with 1 minute and 10, they're starting to take care of verticality. You know, there's not much more verticality included. There's only blue stairs that are seized by the defending side. That's Jaeger taken out. It's going to be 3v3. No more man advantage for each of these teams. Another one for Forever. It's going to be a triple kill from the Yana. What a shot indeed. And we're going to be going on to verticality. 50 seconds on the clock. They have everything they need. All they need to do is the execute. But I feel like Raku is going to be a big hindrance, a big problem to them, because they haven't noticed him. I mean, the Nuk was seconds away from getting into a gunfight with him, but she didn't even notice the Valkyrie downstairs. She was just assuming someone was downstairs just like before, but she didn't know. So will Raku be actually able to, you know, make out with this? And he does get spotted, so that's going to be a bit of an oof, to say the least.
Raku's been lurking the whole round. Now he's spotted out, so his lurk might be in vain as Dano is closing in on him. I think they know that he's in this corner, but Dano drops the hatch on accident. What a mistake coming through from the Pretorian player. Dano is in the basement now, and he will have to go back up the staircase. Forever gets tagged down as well. Dano does trade him back, and now it's all down to Raku, and there's a plant coming through. Rafa, he's going for the plant. This is C4 thrown out by Raku, but he does get taken down, and that's Pretorian winning the round. Raku just being on lurk for the entire round, not able to close it out in the end, and a beautiful 3K coming through from Forever.
Yeah, I mean, Forever actually clutching up that round, just like one of Humble's rounds themselves. It was Diana getting the Thruke and actually managing to win them that one. I think Krakow had some potential to, bring it back for a second, but it didn't happen. This isn't, like mentioned, like this isn't a show or something. So actually, it's going to be both of the matches with the same score going over to the side of Pretorian, and they're going to be quite strongly taking over, and securing the first place before playoffs. So they're going to be actually skipping a game or two before the actual. I believe they're going to be going into the semifinals instantly, just because they're in first place. And with that in mind, they seem to be in quite a good position. So it was a good game. Both teams tried. One of the teams did actually dominate the other. While though that is just team difference. They had more drone capability, they had more communication, I assume, more team chemistry, more fragging power, just more of everything in general. So with that in mind, I believe that's going to close it off for today. It was quite a decent BO3 to look at. The clubhouse match was something, to say the least. And
Oh, it was
Chalet-
something.
it was. Chalet and Bank being not really close, but interesting, I guess. And
It was
yeah.
a good showing from Pretorian. The last two maps that we saw, very confident showing from Pretorian. We know what they're capable of. They've shown it here. Humble just not really up to par in that game. What are you going to do? Sometimes matches like this happen. It was somebody that was toward the top of the standings against somebody toward the bottom of the standings. So it is kind of a result that we expected. But if I would have told you that Pretorian dropped 4 rounds when they only need to win 1 map, but they lose 4 rounds on 2 maps, that's still pretty bad for Humble, because for the second map, there was no stakes for Pretorian. Pretorian weren't playing for anything. They were just playing for fun here on Chalet, and they get the same scoreline as they did on Bank. Kind of a disappointment. I'm very disappointed with Humble, especially on that second map. On that first map, they made different mistakes. I think that's more the map. I think Humble might be a bit weaker on Bank. But we're going to wrap up the stream pretty soon here. But before we do that, one more mention. We have seen the ads before. Titan Series Season 2. The qualifiers are going to go live. You can go on Tournament. You can go check that out. And also Talent League is going to expand into Valorant pretty soon. So you can stay tuned for that.
Most definitely. And, I have nothing else to say. Reprints, you just finished it off. So, it was 2 of the best guys. I mean, 2 casters signing out. It was Bob. It was Reprints. And we'll be seeing you yet another time. Bye-bye.
Might be able to get the cross right through the hole and the angle through there. One more pushing Will Smith right at third. Yes, he does! The first round is all split.
But not too far back. Lion is going to stop defenders from moving. I don't see.
This gets spotted out and issues the drone distance.
5 versus
Them
5
all on
versus
10.
5 versus 0.
Matches kill him and then
Everyone
uses the shot. Alec gets that full
Let's
skill.
go!
Alec with the save.
Alec manages to close out the ace clutch to win the round.
I'm a survivor.